All right. Live there. Awesome. Hi. Do you denote to being legless? Now go away, fluid kick.
That is insane. I got so pissed off over that. You know, I didn't even hear the first half of your recording. By the way, I had it muted because I was playing a game with someone.
We do
Because they
actually
weren't
have
letting me
a.
up for ages.
We do already have a request. Hi X, could I get your age and pronouns, please?
29, he, him.
Do you disagree with the prompt?
Yes.
Could I have some like reasons why you disagree?
Sure. Well, it can be harmful to encourage somebody to alter their hormones and body. I
I
think the
mean,
norm should be discouraging them.
in in some senses, like I could agree with you in the very basic sense that it could cause harm to their body or might cause some issues to that. But like there's harm that can come from a lot of things that would actually end up being beneficial overall. It's more of looking like a comparative outcome results. And we understand that people with gender dysphoria get
Oh, you know, Zale.
Also, hi, Snake.
yeah,
It's
but we,
me, your friend.
what did you
Anyway,
ask or say?
I said hi, Snake. It's me, your friend. But they're
Oh,
ignoring me.
yeah, like I mean, we could just take it to it's just looking at the what's better for um like overall is going to be what we should be looking at, not just oh well this is harmful. Um, well, yeah, there's lots of things that can be harmful, but we do them because they reduce harm, more than they cause harm.
Well, somebody said they had a transgender child, and I thought, how does that even happen
Yeah,
without encouragement? Like,
I need to
let's
turn
be
off my.
real.
Uh,
If your child is transgender, you probably had some part in it. Also, isn't that like a major thing, like life-changing thing for a child to go through?
I mean, so we don't actually do anything to people under the age of like 12, other than do social transitioning. Nobody is getting surgery for being trans at the age of like 12.
Well, yeah, but they're changing their entire wardrobe, appearance, personality, and their name. So that's like a major thing that can stress a child out.
Yeah, we do know that it's far more stressful though if we were to have like an individual who's trans who's not supported by their family. That actually is one of the like leading predictors of leading predictors of expected life outcomes. So like individuals who identify as trans but who are not supported by their family lead to having higher rates of substance abuse and other poor life outcomes such as that, and it's really unfortunate for them because just simply because they're not supported.
Okay, are you on the spectrum, um, or are
Uh,
you a cis person?
yeah, I'm cis. I'm on this autism spectrum, not the not other. I mean, other spectrums like the ADHD spectrum as well. But like, I'm not. I'm just cis. I'm not trans. I'm not
Okay.
gender fluid or anything like that.
Well, from what I've seen on this app is most LGBT community people are disabled or have mental or physical disabilities. Would you agree?
I wouldn't say most. I would say that there's a good number of individual, like there is a correlation that we know of like individuals who are trans tend to be have like higher rates of autism. The exact correlation between them or the causation hasn't been determined. But it's likely due to like it being just naturally that they just co-occur more often. Um,
So does it are you saying it correlates to a lower intelligence? Because that's exactly what you just said.
what did you say?
Well, you said that it correlates to a lower intelligence.
No, being
That
autistic
is what you
doesn't lead
said.
to lower intelligence. I just said that they co-occur together.
Right, they co-occur, there's a correlation. So you're admitting that people on the spectrum are is correlated to being part of the community.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're dumber. Like I'm on the spectrum, but I have an IQ of 106, which is like completely normal. Like that is a
Well,
completely
IQ.
average IQ.
Why does everybody these days want to claim that they're autistic and neurodivergent?
Well, I have a
We didn't
DSM.
have that back in the day.
Yeah, so do you understand how autism was diagnosed back in the day? It was different than to how we define autism nowadays. We only classified individuals with like what we would classify as like stage 2 or 3 autism now as being those who are autistic when it was first came out. We had others things such as Asperger's, which were we thought were like a different diagnosis, but we then learned that it wasn't.
Is that a Steam sound?
No, it's Discord. Give me 1 second.
Oh, Discord. It's fine. It's just funny that this is how I'm finding out you're a Discord kitten.
No, I'm not a Discord kitten. What the hell?
It's just like this is the way we find out.
I'll just quit Discord that way. There we go.
So you're a moderator?
No, I'm just talking to people or message me.
Oh, okay.
Friends of mine are literally just messaged me actually about this live. Funnily enough, it's just how we communicate with my friends usually. I just like Discord because it's convenient.
So you're denying the allegations.
Allegations. Oh man. So like yeah, it's very clear that
Well, back to my point is, do you think it's a placebo effect when back in the day people didn't get the diagnosis that they were autistic or neurodivergent versus today they may get it if they have mild symptoms? So don't you think that placebo effect can be harmful?
it's not placebo. I don't know if you've ever like looked at what it takes to get an autism diagnosis. It's not simple. It's not straightforward. They don't look at just one thing or ask you a few questions. When I got my autism diagnosis, it was half a day of questioning and going through tests and studies in order for me to be diagnosed with autism and a few other things. But it was like these are all things that were looked at to look at my overall brain health and to see what potential issues I had. It isn't something that you just go out and get willy nilly. It is something that does it has to be done by somebody who's licensed to diagnose you, and usually it involves some sort of actual diagnostic test to make sure that you have the requirements of that the DSM lays out.
So how does having autism affect you?
Yeah, so it affects everybody differently. For me, And one of the ways that it appears for me is that I tend to have like more black and white thinking, and I find it hard sometimes to see things from other people's sides. But that's something I'm aware of, and I have to work actively to against. Um, but and then there's other things like whenever I'm doing things like executive functioning tasks, I just struggle with them a lot more. I have sensitivity to different stimuli that are more like loud noises. I'm more prone to reacting to them. In no way does
Okay.
in some ways, if you're gonna want to try to like tie this back to the whole transgender community as well, I would think that if because I'm not an expert on being transgender, I'm not transgender. I am an expert though in terms of like understanding you know what being autistic is like, and I can see how because somebody's autistic, they might be far more willing to reject these social ideas such as gender and express themselves outside of what we would consider normal boundaries. But that doesn't mean they're wrong for doing it. It just means that they might just be more prone to not caring about what society thinks. I care very
Okay.
little about what society thinks of me, and I'm just going to be who I am. I don't really care what society thinks of that because I think society is very silly at times. We do lots. Society does lots of very, very silly things for silly reasons. I would hold, and that's pretty common among or among autistic individuals of just thinking society is a little bit silly at times.
So, are you considered a furry?
No, what the what the hell?
Well, you do have a furred animal.
Yeah, I just like stoats because they're cute and
Oh,
they're
I thought
just
it was a ferret.
sort of. Ferrets are a type of weasel. Stoats are likewise a type of weasel.
It's a stoat.
Yeah, a stoat is
Where is it native to?
they're native to parts of North America, Europe. Um, I think parts of like northern Asia. Uh, I mean, I can pull up a habitat map and see. Stoat habitat map. Yeah, that's about
And why
right.
did you pick them as your animal of choice?
Because I like stoats. I mean, look at that little guy.
Okay.
They're also little vicious bastards. So you don't want to hold a stoat up to your ear. That's all you'll learn is what it's like to be attacked. What it sounds like to be attacked by a stoat. You're not going to learn anything more than that. These are peak predators. They can hunt animals 10 times their own weight. But
Like
but
what?
anyways, like rabbits. Rabbits weigh up to 5 pounds. Stoats can take down them when they only weigh half a pound.
Hold on, I have to address somebody in the comments. Alexa, shut your bitch ass up.
Whoa, B. I don't know what they're saying in the comments, but I didn't see them say anything.
Anyway, she's not important.
Yeah, please be nice to the comments, otherwise I am just gonna drop you. Um,
Okay, how about this, Alexa? If you have something to say, come up and say it.
oh, I mean, if they're welcome to come up if they want to. Oh, they can.
Because I really don't have time for your attitude today.
Oh, okay. So my attitude. So it's
Oh,
thank you first for your lovely comment. Oh my God, doesn't make any sense, but it says a lot about your personality, and I'm sorry for your mom that she has you as a child. So first of all,
Wow.
yeah, like you want to like
You
insult
going for
me,
my
so I
mom.
can do the same. So I
You're
could
going
care
for
less
my
about
mom.
Italian and how you speak with that like ew. I want to throw up, but that you're not even worth to throw up. So yeah.
Well, last time I checked, somebody who covers their body in tattoos is
Oh my
probably a
God,
bitch.
yeah. Oh yeah, like I love that,
I
like
would
the
bet on that.
cliche comments, and I couldn't care less, especially
You
when
have
that
no
person.
class.
Oh, let me talk. Shut the fuck up. When you ask about why you have like I'm not from the US, UK. Like English is not my first language, so sorry if I say something wrong. But like your questions are just fucking stupid. So it doesn't have anything to do about why you support or not support transgender, and you ask about the profile pic. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, are you
And that tells me
transgender?
a lot about your IQ. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. And
Okay,
when
cool.
you
And
smile,
when you, oh, cool.
your face doesn't move because you have so much plastic in your face.
Oh no, it's just Botox, and you know Botox is not plastic, but if you would be educated, you would know that.
And you're very young to have Botox.
Oh, I'm young. You know how old I am?
Yes, you're very young.
Okay, guess. Come on,
You're
bully me.
probably
Come
not
on.
even 30 and you already have Botox.
Oh, thank you. I'm not even 30. Oh, such a compliment. Thank you.
So maybe it was your mama that didn't teach you any better.
Yeah, my mom is toxic as fuck.
Mine
But
is too.
yeah, but yeah, but that's so sweet, X. Without a profile picture or real name, that
Right.
you're going live or like probably like joining random live streams to just bully and like spread hate or I don't know, like leaving all the insecure shit that you have inside you and projecting it on other people. Sweet, love it.
Let me guess, you have daddy issues too.
Oh my god, maybe. But what that has to do with my comments about you? Explain. I'm interested.
You're autistic?
No, I'm not.
And are you part of the LGBT community?
Of course, I support my gays and trans people, and if you don't, you have a problem.
Based.
So,
W.
what part of the community are you?
So, I'm from Germany, and you're probably from the US, I guess?
Canada.
Yeah. But if you would live in the US, you would support Trump, right? You would.
Maybe.
So
Well,
it's a yes.
good thing that Trump wants to take over your country by force.
Yeah,
I'm sure you would be
Well,
welcoming.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
You
think that
would
will
be
ever
like,
happen.
Oh, I agree.
yeah.
I mean,
And that says everything about your ex. Like, the maybe is a yes. So I think your IQ is like, I'm glad that you even like open a door with your brain, if it's there or something.
Okay, Alexa, you're so intelligent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for, I don't know what you said. I couldn't collect.
hey Lala, could I get your age pronouns, please?
20, she.
All right, thank you. And I already asked you if you disagreed, and you disagreed with the prompt, so.
Yeah, you don't think that like in some capacity you're supporting people's delusions?
No, neither the DSM-5 nor ICD-11 label being trans as a delusion in any sense, which would be the organizations that would be the ones to classify this as a delusion.
So people believing that they can be the opposite sex, you don't think that's
Well, that's just a misunderstanding of what trans people believe.
Oh no, I've talked to many transgender people on this app.
No, it's not a belief. Like,
Yes.
I'm a cis woman, but I have a lot of friends that are trans. So it's not a like, oh, the next day you wake up and you think, oh, you're a man or you're a girl. Like, you know, it's a body dysmorphia.
Yeah, you're always going to have these internal feelings, at least at some point. That are going to evolve. Like, generally these things are like cemented, like your idea of self is going to be cemented by like around the age of 9. Generally it starts like forming at the age of 5. And you might not always recognize that you have like gender non-conforming ideas, or that you like them. Well, you're going to feel them, but you might not be able to express them and feel comfortable doing so. And people who have these, that are this way, it isn't seen as they're trying to be members of the other sex. It is that they identify with the opposite gender.
Yeah, especially also, like, it can begin with like when you're a child, and children think, or when they are trans, they not even know what trans is. They never heard of it, but they feel like they're in the wrong body, and they never heard about trans people, but they feel it. So, and when they actually know, or like when they get older, they're like, oh my god, I felt wrong, and now I feel understood because I had this body dysmorphia, and I hated my body because I'm feeling like I'm born in the wrong body. At beginning, most of the time, like very young, and they don't even know that trans people even exist. So, and when they like acknowledge, or I don't know, I hope every trans child has parents that are like supportive and educating their children about what is happening if they are in this situation. So I hope so oh my god, sorry. Sometimes when I'm like heated, I'm just rambling around. And
Yeah,
as I
especially
said,
if English isn't your first language, it's all good.
yes, yes. Sorry. Sometimes
No, it's all good.
I can describe certain words.
But
You-
can
you-
I? So do you don't think it's delusional for people believing that they can change their sex?
Did you listen to my point?
I did. It had nothing to do with my question.
No, it did.
Well,
Because
so,
I just explained why it's not delusion
yeah, and
or
that's not
deluded.
like the medical community doesn't see it as that's what people are thinking. People might say that, but I would actually really press that they, I wouldn't say that the whole, like, everybody has the correct idea of what being trans is, even if they are, identify as being trans. They don't have to do, you don't have to do extensive in-depth research about what being trans is, and like have a complete understanding that it is about gender versus sex in order to have these, gender non-conforming beliefs or ideas and feel that this is who you are. Like, these are going
Well,
to
being
be.
trans is you just want to
But
present as the
Lala,
opposite sex
I
in
answered
society.
your question with the Lulu thing. I answered your question with that it's like children are feeling uncomfortable with their born gender.
Okay,
And-
that's like, okay, children feel uncomfortable all the time, growing in their developing
No, but
bodies.
you
Like,
didn't listen. Are you listening to me?
I am listening. I've listened to you.
You heard what I said before? That children can feel uncomfortable with their own gender even before they even know what trans is.
I know, but that doesn't immediately mean that they need to transition. Like, I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
and
of
that's.
course
I mean,
not.
there's tomboys,
Not
there's
every
really
child
girly
needs
boys.
to
Like,
transition. Maybe they're like, yeah, I'm okay with my body, and maybe I'm like non-binary or something.
wait,
But
out of curiosity, Alexa, if you're like, let's say, 7-year-old child, a boy, came up to you and said, "I don't really like boy things. I don't really feel like a boy," you would immediately
no, that's not what I
transition
mean.
No, into
that's
society
not
as a
what I
girl.
mean. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I look like a biatch. Look at me. I'm a makeup girl, yeah, Botox and lips, lip fillers, etc. I look like the meanest girl ever, but I love dinosaurs. In the past, I played with dinosaurs. My favorite toy was Godzilla. So but that doesn't mean, of course, that I'm transgender because I played with like boy things.
Right.
That's not
agree.
what I mean. Yeah, that's not what I mean. But there are there are people, children, that are feeling different, even if they play like, let's say, Julia's playing with Barbies, but she still can feel stuck in her body and feel like wrong in her body and can be transgender. Doesn't mean that.
You think so? You think transgender children that's like a thing that they want to do
No,
without
that's
any
what
kind
they
of
want to do.
adult like persuasion?
What is that word?
Do you think like transgender children that's just like a thing without any adult persuasion or intervention? That's just a thing that kids want to do.
Yes, not always. It's rare.
I don't
but
see how you
yeah.
can come to that knowing that transgender it's not a natural occurrence. I don't know how.
Oh, well,
It is.
that would be
Because I know people that are trans and they got rejected from their parents when they came out as trans. And they got the most horrible time because they got rejected of that. So yeah, it's not like that the parents are protecting. You're trans, probably, maybe.
Who's typing?
oh, that's me.
Not
Um, yeah. So I mean, like we've already said that the DSM-5 doesn't label being trans as like any sort of issue.
Yeah, it's like gender identity disorder, gender dysphoria, something like that.
No, gender identity disorder was in the DSM-4. That's no longer a recognized. I mean, people have been diagnosed
Yeah,
with it,
I
but
said
it's no longer recognized as
something
being
like
the way. It's only gender dysphoria, and not all trans people have to have. Like, you don't have to have gender dysphoria in order to be trans.
Oh, really? What would incentivize someone to change their gender if they don't have gender dysphoria?
Yeah, so if people want to actually go through medical care, yeah, you're gonna generally you're gonna have some sort of dysphoria, and that's when you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's
You can socially transition and be completely happy and live as a transgender individual, without ever going through any sort of medical change. Further, there's also times where individuals who have received medical care, this has completely alleviated their dysphoria, and they no longer have gender dysphoria.
It's not just medical care. I mean, simply just looking at yourself in the mirror saying, "Oh, I want to appear more as a female, as a biological female." That's having gender dysphoria. I don't like being in my male body. That's gender dysphoria. There's I don't believe that there's not a single trans person on this earth that doesn't have any type of gender dysphoria. That's just a crazy ideology to believe in.
So why would
Like, why
the
would you think they didn't just like
DSM-5
themselves?
explicitly make a difference between being transgender and gender dysphoria if this wasn't possible?
Because gender dysphoria is a thing that they have. It's a psychological disorder that transgender people have. It's not synonymous. Transgender is describing the people. Gender dysphoria is describing the psychological disorder that they have.
Yeah,
So the thing is, there's always a difference. If you are feeling really also at a young age, or it can also come in teenage years or young adult, if you feel like you are in the wrong body and you always kind of felt like it's not me. And also my uncle now she's my aunt. It can also be late, but there's also let's say, I don't know, masculine lesbians. Is that correct English?
Yeah, masculine lesbians. Yeah.
Yeah, they feel like a woman, but a masculine woman, and that doesn't mean that they're like transgender if they like dress as a man. Like I say it with man because like for me even men can wear dresses or high heels. Like I don't care, just wear what you want. You know what I mean?
Alexa, where are you from? Like, you're
Germany.
from somewhere. Yeah, Germany. That makes sense.
Oh, why?
Yeah, why was that make sense?
I mean, those countries, those types of countries are very, very progressive, and it just makes sense that you believe in all this stuff.
Yeah,
No, it's
progressive
not
ideals
believing.
are
It's just
good.
I'm here for
Like
like
progressive in a
basic.
dogmatic way.
I'm here for just basic human rights. Like my mom is from Poland and my grandma is from Russia, and I grew up in a very, very strict, abusive Christian household. So yeah, and they're against all of this. But
Are you a part of the LGBT community?
you asked that before, I guess, or
No,
what?
I didn't. I didn't.
It
I'm
was the
just
other
like,
guest, I think, that did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course.
okay,
Because
so
because I saw how much hate they get. I have one of my best friends. I know him for 18, 19 years. And like when I saw him the first time, I'm 33 now. And we met when I was 13. He was also 13, 14. So I saw him and I knew he's gay. So I said, "Oh, you're gay." And he was like, "No, I'm hetero." Few years later, he was like, "I'm bisexual." I'm like, "No, you're gay." Few years later, he called me crying, "Alexa, I'm gay." I'm like, "Yeah, duh." And he was so scared about coming out. But he was gay like from the beginning, but he was just scared to be himself. And because I just like saw everything and experienced everything and saw how much he was scared and everything, that's why I don't want that people are hiding their true selves. So
I mean,
why is affecting anyhow? Why is affecting like you that my friend is gay? So why would you not support it? It doesn't have anything to do with your life. So why are you caring about that my friend is gay? Just think, oh, he's happy, sweet.
well, I don't care that your friend is gay. I just don't like
It was
the
just an example.
certain agendas that your community likes to push.
But
What am I pushing?
yeah, what agenda? Like I don't follow anything other than like what's medically
What am I
recommended.
pushing? Or what is the LGBTQ
Well,
pushing? It's
well,
just
yeah, I think pushing delusions. I think that's problematic, especially on the children. I think that's extremely problematic.
I don't want children. I couldn't care less about children. But why am I pushing? Yeah, I couldn't care less. Look at the world. Why should I want a child or give birth in this fucking world at the moment?
It's not like we're pushing individuals to be something that they're not. Like we're not trying to like quote unquote trans their kids or something ridiculous like that. That's
Yeah. Like
I
Lala,
don't
if you
so-
want to have a
I
child,
really don't
Lala,
want
if you want to
somebody
have a child,
who's
wait,
not trans
Lala,
to be
if you
forced to be trans. That's a really
Yeah,
bad
Lala-
thing to do.
wait. Lala, if you want to have a child, do what you want. If you want 5, I don't care. Do what you want. It's your life. I couldn't care less. I don't want to push my beliefs on your beliefs. I don't care. It's not my life.
Wait,
You're
but
not my
how-
friend. I don't care.
How
So-
isn't that happening though? When you're over here saying that children can be transgender, they understand it fully
No,
without
that was
any
not your question.
kind of
that was
adult
not
like
your
intervention between that.
No, that was not.
Also
your
trying
question.
to wait, hold on, Alexa. Also trying to normalize it as not being a psychological disorder, as gender
No, that was not the question.
gender dysphoria.
I answered the question about why the LGBTQ plus community want to push the beliefs on someone. I answered the question, and now I'm asking, why do you think that?
Well, I'm telling you why.
No, that has nothing. Your sentence.
How is that?
with
It's literally, how has,
nothing
like,
to do
what?
with
What are you
it.
talking about? It has everything to do with that.
No, not at all.
I would hold that there's a lot of people think that the like people who are advocates of the community, like Alexa and myself,
I
are like
I
we're
asked
doing far
Lala
more than
why.
what we're actually
No,
saying.
why do you think I'm pushing my beliefs on you? I'm just explaining. So why do you
Well,
think
not.
I'm
Well, I'm not
pushing my
saying you
beliefs on you?
specifically are pushing your beliefs. I'm saying your community is pushing the normalization
What
of
is my
things that
community?
don't make sense.
But what is the community?
The
I'm in that
LGBT community.
Yeah,
You
I'm
said you
in
were.
that community. So why do you think the community that I'm in pushing our beliefs on you? So I'm in that
Well,
community. I'm
I
asking
just
you
told you
now.
that.
So answer the question.
I just answered your question,
No,
Alexa.
you didn't.
Oh, you just can't accept the fact that it's true.
No, I accept. I'm just here for a debate. I don't want to push anything on you. I'm just curious.
I mean, I just told you the
No,
normalization
you
of it.
didn't. The-
But
yeah.
that's
So
what I
the
said.
okay. So the normalization that you should accept everyone how they live their lives, right?
It's also not
That
like
people can be things that they can't.
yeah the
That
normalization.
was not the topic. I was talking about like gay people now. Like if I'm a lesbian and I'm bisexual, so why does it affect you that I'm love woman as well?
I mean,
Yep.
bisexual, like, that doesn't really affect me or anyone. I don't think bisexuals are pushed. Well, as far as I know,
Sorry,
I don't.
I couldn't hear you again. Can you repeat, please?
I don't see any bisexuals pushing bisexuality onto children as the other parts of the LGBT community are pushing their orientations and identities onto children.
So, but okay, then explain, please, which part of the LGBTQ plus community is pushing that on children?
Okay, the non-binaries, the transgenders, some of the homosexuals, cross-dressers. What else?
So, but
The
I think
furries.
bisexual is just like one part of everything you just said. So I told
Alexa,
you.
you're just confused. You're just confused.
No, I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not. I think just your sentences doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would
I
also
don't think you understand my English. That's
Yeah,
don't.
I do. Don't worry, I do. But it doesn't make any
No,
sense.
you don't.
I do. But it doesn't make any sense.
To you.
No, like I think for everyone.
Oh, okay, then how about you tell me what I just said then? If it doesn't make any sense to you, can you re-explain what I said
Okay, I
in a
will.
way that makes sense?
Okay, I will. I ask you how the LGBTQ plus
Oh,
community
God.
does affect you. Why are oh my god, like you ask for explaining, I do.
Because you're not like, oh, okay.
Is she
Yeah,
even listening now?
I would hold that like I think Alexa would also agree with me that like people if they're like forcing things onto the kids, they shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong.
Like why are the kids now here? Like
Yeah, like
in that tub.
people have
Like
choices.
if I'm bi, she said she accepted, cool. But if I'm a lesbian, that is affect children another way? Doesn't make sense.
I've said some of the homosexuals, not all of them.
Why the homosexuals? Why is my friend?
I
that
don't know.
tried
They
the
just seem more
phone line on my
radical.
phone?
They seem more radical into wanting
Why?
children to be homosexual as well. Ask them.
Yeah,
I don't.
like 80% of my friends are homosexual.
Gay
lesbians,
kid.
and
Have you
stuff.
ever seen that? Kids can be gay.
Yeah, then let them be
Pubescent
gay.
children can be gay. Oh, kids can be gay.
Yeah, they can be gay. I thought I'm a lesbian when I was 8.
I think that
Since
you know,
when do
I mean they can have an understanding that their understanding of themselves is that they're attracted to one member of one gender or another, but like that doesn't necessarily like and these things grow with us too. Like it is possible that they um like people as they grow up, they gain more experience in the world, and they change, and they become gay or bisexual or something like that. These things are not also
But
like
no, but the thing is, that's why I said the story about my gay friend that I know over 18 years that he was hetero, but I just knew from the beginning in our 18, 19-year friendship that he was gay. He said, I'm hetero. I said, no, you're gay. Then he was bi a few years later. I said, no, you're gay. And then a few years later, he called me crying and said, I'm gay. So why, like,
Alexa, you live in Germany, one of the gayest countries. I think they're
no,
pretty accepting. So.
Germany's pretty
gay
great
country.
though. You can
Uh,
get to places without having to drive a car.
But is it like this sentence, one of the gayest countries, like it would be an insult? Why?
You don't think that's an insult being called the gayest
No,
country?
it's not. Like you said like it's an insult. It's not, but you said it like it.
It would make the Germans from the 30s and 40s very upset to be called that, and that's a good thing to make them upset. So
Okay,
it-
probably.
it's not like that's
So how's
offensive to
my
them.
friend that cried on my phone that he's gay because he was so scared to like out himself affect the children or anyone hetero, whatever.
Okay, listen, Alexa, listen to what I'm saying. Your
I'm
friend
listening.
specifically does not affect children if he's not doing anything to children. But do you not go online? Like, do you not look in the mainstream media of what's being pushed from your community? Oh,
My
you know, the
community?
whole controversy with the drag queen story time, whatever. The whole controversy with the pride being shown in public and being indecent.
Okay. Let me
Like, I'm
tell me one drag queen that insulted someone.
girl, what are you what is
No,
she
I'm
talking about?
asking you. That was your sentence. So tell me one drag queen that did that. Tell me one name.
One drag queen that did what? Drag time,
Like
whatever
because
it's
you said,
called.
like you do not see like the media and drag queen children. Tell me one name from a drag queen. Because you said that that was your sentence.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a
Tell me a
controversy.
name. Then tell me a name.
Okay, I will. I'll look it up.
Okay, you can Google or ask ChatGPT then. No?
Girl, I don't use ChatGPT. I use Google.
Then
I
ask.
wouldn't-
Then tell me one name. One name now.
I don't see why that's relevant, but I can give
Because
you
you said it. That
It's
was
not-
your sentence. Like, did you not see the drag queens there?
Can I turn on my camera? I don't know.
Tell me one name.
I-
Now,
I
if
think
you
that-
are
I don't know. I just
invested-
looked it up. There's a bunch of them. I don't
No,
like.
yeah, tell me one name.
Do you think that we should destigmatize things that we know
Tell
are
me
not
one
unnatural?
name if you're like invested.
They don't have their name. Oh, it
That-
says that activist Michelle
So you
T.
can't. So
Girl, I just told you
so
a name.
you
What are you
can't.
talking about?
No, just be real. You can't.
I don't see why that's relevant anyway.
Because it's
Like,
relevant
it's
because
happening.
it was your sentence that you did not see the drag queens blah 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 children.
Okay, but if it's
Tell me
happening, okay, is it happening, Alexa? Is it happening?
Is it happening that the orange man is on the Epstein list?
Oh, I see how you had to. Yeah, you had to redirect the question. Yeah.
No, because I asked your name and I asked for a name and you're like rambling around
No,
for like 5
no.
minutes. So what can I say? Tell me one name.
You are such an unserious person. Like,
No, I'm asking.
You're just
for, like the
unserious.
10th time. Tell me a name from a drag queen.
no, I don't have to tell you
Oh,
a
no,
name for you to
okay,
understand that it is
why no?
happening.
Why no?
And see how you can't answer
Why
my
no?
question?
Why you just can't say
Oh,
one name?
look at that.
One name. Give me. Huh? One name. And I will shut the fuck up.
I think you're just misunderstanding what the push is. Like, people just want to destigmatize, people living their lives. This is like the DSM-5
I
and
talking to
ICD-11 both have completely depathologized these conditions. Um,
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to Lala mostly.
No, Alexa.
I wouldn't call them conditions either. I would call them states of being.
Yeah,
Like if you are trans, you are trans.
yeah, because conditions has like a negative connotation attached to it sometimes. So yeah, I would agree. I would be saying, like, when I say conditions, I mean it's just like something that you are at that point. It doesn't. I don't want to have
State of
connotations.
being,
But
yeah.
states of being
That's
is
fair.
this. Yeah, there's been a push to depathologize this because of the fact that we have more evidence to show that there is nothing wrong with being these things. Like, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with being trans. There's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being bi, lesbian, intersex, or anything like that. It's not wrong. The push is because
Yeah.
people, it has been stigmatized in our culture, and it causes harm to individuals when they're marginalized for these stigmas. So we really want to
Wait,
get rid of
so
this
you
because
don't-
it's
Or,
harmful to
like,
You don't think
people.
there's anything wrong with
Well,
wanting to
shoot,
chop off your penis or
Okay,
cut off your
Lala,
breasts,
name me
change your
one
genitals?
cool shooter that was trans in America.
I have no idea what you're asking me.
One, like, school shoot. I can't say it, otherwise we get banned. Like, you go with
Girl, you're not even making sense. Like,
I can't say it, otherwise we get banned. So that's why I'm describing.
you mean mass pew-pewer?
in schools?
I mean, I don't see how that's relevant either, but there
It
have
is
been some
because
of them.
you said it.
There have been some
That's
of them.
why I'm asking.
Listen, Alexa, here are the stats. 5 out of the thousands of mass pew-pewers in the United States of America, 5 in the last 10 years, the last decade, have been trans. So what's your point?
My
Also,
point is that trans people are not the issue.
yeah. It also the
Trans
stats, if you
people
look
are
They're
not
not
into
the
the
it-
issue.
issue.
I
They're just
agree
one
with
issue
that.
amongst
the
many
issue.
issues.
Oh, they're not a issue
We're an
at all.
issue.
Not at all. If they were a issue, the DSM-5 would label being trans as some sort of mental disorder.
It's not trans. It's the psychological disorder that they have. I thought we already went over this.
Yeah, so you can be
But you
trans.
said
So
trans.
do
So
you
I'm
understand
just
what gender
answering your questions, and I'm
Oh,
like
sorry.
saying
Please
stuff
let the host
from
finish
your
speaking.
stuff.
When the host is speaking.
Oh,
No, you're
Very
not,
true.
Alexa.
So yeah, the thing is that gender
Census.
dysphoria is focused on the actual dysphoria that somebody feels. It's not the like it's not focusing on them being trans. It's focusing on
God.
the issue being this discomfort that's being caused and alleviating it.
To
You're just
reword
saying the
and
same
clarify,
thing. You're just-
Lala, in order to reword and clarify, you do not need to have gender dysphoria in order to be trans. Okay, you can unmute now.
I mean, we went over this already. That you do, in fact, need to have some kind of dysphoria about your gender in order to want to transition. There would be no other incentive to transition. If you love the
Medically
way that you were,
Do you
No,
think
wait, if
that
you love the
trans
way-
means transgender? Do you think that trans means
who is
transgender?
this? Who is this talking? Because I don't know.
Oh my god. A panelist
I didn't.
talking.
Yeah, you're like someone
My
completely.
name's
You already went
Cole.
over
Hi,
all
it's
this.
nice to meet you.
I know
I just
you're
got here. Wow, shocker.
Yeah,
Sometimes
obviously
you
you
need to
did.
repeat things for people. So,
I never
do
mentioned
you
that
think that
trans
trans
meant.
means
No, stop
transgender?
bringing up
Okay.
irrelevant points. Thank you.
Because you're talking about transitioning, and trans does not mean transitioning.
Yes, that's an irrelevant point. I'm talking about transitioning as in changing your gender. That's what I'm talking about.
If
Pay
you
attention.
transition, then there is, and it's not changing your gender. It's expressing it's the gender that you've always been, first of all.
Oh, that's
Second of all, sorry, I don't even fucking remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Oh
I know
yeah,
you're
it
confusing
is relevant. It is relevant because if you don't think that these people, sorry, fucking, every time you speak, I lose my train of thought, which is gonna encourage you to speak more, I'm sure. Um, but um, yeah,
I love how you
I'm gonna
said
let it
that
go
they've
for
always been
now.
transgender. I love how you said that gender is
No, they
something
haven't always been
innate. Wait,
transgender.
hold on,
They've
hold on, hold
always,
on,
well, I
hold
mean,
on.
yeah, but yeah, yes,
But gender
ever
is a
since
social
they developed
construct?
gender, gender is a sorry about that, neuropsychosocial
Neuropsycho? Yeah, totally.
social construct.
Oh,
All
Lana,
three.
why does it affect you? Like, why? What do you have to do with, like, people's private lives and
Keep it
everything?
private. Keep it private.
Why?
That's what.
Why should I, like, hide myself
Keep your
as
sister
a,
like
That's not hiding
private.
yourself.
as a
Keep the
cis
cis out of
privileged
our
woman
lives.
with,
Ew.
like, 80% of my
I don't
friends?
talk about my gender. I don't talk about
Saying
myself.
that, listen, saying that a trans
That
person
makes sense, Lana.
is not like suppressing themselves or not being themselves when they have to mask their true gender identity for society's sake is wild work.
Yeah. I have a lovely
Gender identity.
example. Like, if I would be, like, in a train with my boyfriend and we would share, like, a kiss, like a mwah. So, would you be offended? Probably not. But if I would be there with a woman and I would give a, why does it offend you?
Girl, nobody cares about you and your fake girlfriend or whatever you're
Fake
talking about.
So it doesn't
You don't
offend
care.
you?
No, that
So
doesn't
it,
offend me. I never said
it
that.
does
That would
because
offend me.
your previous sentence said exactly that you're offended with no reason.
Alexa, you want someone to be offended by your bisexuality.
No,
Wow,
Yeah.
Lala, you don't want anyone to hold you to what you've actually said.
yeah,
It's pretty funny.
Oh, I don't think you understand much of anything.
now
So I don't.
you understand,
know.
I
but
think I
your
understand
words are
enough.
just
No,
like
it doesn't sound like you do.
stupid.
Mm,
I love a good discussion and debate, but I don't know how many brain cells you have left.
Oh, are
because-
you kidding me? The whole time you've been up here, you have made 0 sense.
No,
Like,
I was
are you
answering
serious?
so many. Like, you answered a question.
Well, you
like,
brought up your gay friend, then you brought up
shut
your
up, let
you
me
being
talk.
bisexual. You've talked a lot, so I don't know.
I have
Yeah,
a question
tried to
for host.
explain, and
If
you-
everyone can let
I
me
have a
ask,
question for host.
if you can let me ask a host this question, is it all right with you if we do kind of like a reset-ish type deal so that I can get caught up on where we're at and so that everybody can kind of like take a deep breath and not talk over each other and all those sorts of things?
No, everybody must talk over each other constantly. No. Yeah. No, that's a good
sorry,
idea.
like, also for real, I'm so sorry, but sometimes, like, the topic get me so heated because I just can't understand how people can be so discriminating.
Yeah, I
As
mean,
a fellow trans, sorry,
oh,
as
no,
a
go
fellow
ahead.
trans person, thanks. I just want to say, like, it really is sad sometimes, but sometimes we get, I mean, we're looking for we're looking for people who disagree, but sometimes we get some really people, you know? So it can be disheartening at times for sure. Especially I'm sure as a trans woman yourself, which is not my experience, but
I'm a cis
yeah,
woman.
that can be difficult. Yeah.
I'm a cis woman.
You're a cis woman?
Yes.
Oh, hell, even as a cis woman, as soon as I'm passing, which will be this year, I won't be dealing with misogyny in the ways that I have for the first 24 years of my life. So that'll be good.
Yeah, the thing is just like I grew up with my gays, my girls, everyone in between, and I saw like when I was really really young how people are just discriminating and how hurtful it is. So I'm here for protecting my friends and everyone that is in that community, and it hurts to hear the discriminating stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
What's
And I have
discriminatory?
really quickly, I'm talking to Alexa real quick.
Okay,
I
so
have a question for you, Alexa, about like, as a kid, was this really easy for you to grasp, or was this really difficult for you to grasp?
What is that word? Sorry, I'm not.
Like seeing the
Why are you laughing,
discrimination,
Anna? Oh my God.
Alexa, be quiet.
seeing the issues within communities where there was a lot of oppression happening, seeing that discrimination happening. Was that easy for you to understand as a kid? Not, I'm not talking about details, just the like simple fact that this is wrong, you know? Was that easy for you to understand as a kid or difficult for you to understand as a kid?
Like understanding that the discrimination is happening, or what do you mean?
Happening and that it's wrong.
It is, yeah. Like even when I
So
was,
easy for you to understand? Sorry.
it was like easy to understand that discrimination is wrong.
Yeah, as a kid,
Yeah,
was that
yeah.
easy?
Even when I was like 8, as I said, I thought I was a lesbian when I was 8, and like at a very young age, I had like my gay, lesbian, everyone in between friends very early age, and I saw the discrimination. So, and there were or are, I'm still friends with them, and the discrimination just hurted me, like it broke my heart.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I really appreciate you answering that question and being somebody who's speaking up about these things, even though they don't directly affect you personally. Um, so yeah, I really appreciate that. That question was to give an example of how easy it is for even, especially honestly, sometimes children to understand the state of things and what's right and what's wrong. Whereas sometimes we don't even see adults recognizing these things, what's right and what's wrong. Um, so that's kind of a stark comparison, and kind of sad in my opinion. I wish
even
that all adults were as smart as kids in that way, in the
what
way
does
that they can
dark
just
mean?
see discrimination for what it is, you
What,
know?
what does dark means? As I said, sorry, English is not
Oh,
my first
stark.
language.
That's okay. Stark means just like a very obvious, very clear, very different, like, thing, if that makes sense. So, like, the difference, saying a stark difference means like a very big and obvious difference. Um, does that make sense? Sorry.
Uh, yeah, I have ADHD. Sorry.
That's okay. Me too. You are not alone.
Yay!
I think we all have our own neurodivergencies up here.
I think that's
And
why
also
we're
she
here.
she ran. I don't understand, but I see that she's gone now. Anyways, so yeah, stark just means like there's a very clear night and day kind of difference um between and I don't even remember what I was saying now. So hello
ADHD.
ADHD for me.
I
Absolutely,
see you. I
absolutely.
see you.
But whatever I was saying, I promise that was relevant to, even though I can't recall it at this moment.
It was on
I
topic, but I
don't know
can't tell you how it
what the
was.
question was.
Literally, I will watch the playback and be like, "Oh, that's how I meant to tie that in," and then I'll be like, "Damn, I couldn't remember in that moment," you know, like.
Oh, or like when you want to like, oh yeah, I remember that too, and you hold like other topic, and you're like, I forgot what the
Yeah.
Hey
main
Cole, did you
question
see
was.
when Snake went up against Edna today? And it was just immediately get out of here.
The clippy clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch that. It was pretty great. I think it's great. I don't know if I finished watching it before my friend called me earlier, but yeah, I'll have to finish it later if I haven't already.
Do I have my thing?
Also, on a panel earlier full of GCs, they didn't know who, like, what gender I was. And that was so affirming, honestly. Like, even the people who said that they thought I was a female and or a woman, were calling me bro over and over and over again later in the conversation. And I'm like, dude, y'all are so deeply confused, and that brings me joy.
Especially if you're like questioning if you're gonna transition or not. It's like, are you? Do you? I don't know your gender. Great, nor do I. No.
For real.
It's very silly.
Also, like, real quick thing, like, what I learned for myself, I'm 33. So, what I learned, I wanted to put myself, like, in a box, if that makes sense, with my sexuality.
Don't put yourself in the box.
Exactly, that's what I learned. I thought I'm hetero, but I had something,
Chava requested
the
so
devil's
quick after
tangle with
joining.
more
Sorry to
women.
interject, but it's Lucho. Just a reminder.
Oh yeah, no, I recognize this now. I accidentally put that pew pew in my mouth and pulled the trigger once before, and I'm like, ah.
Yay,
I remember
trauma.
this time that's not something you should do because it hurts. I'm kidding.
Trauma.
No, no, but your
Love
English is much
learning.
better than any of our Germans. So don't like say
Honestly.
sorry about my English. It's like, no, your English is certainly passable. You're easy to understand. It's all good.
It's basic. It's basic.
It's basic. I speak
No, but
fluent
even,
English. It's
like,
basic. God, people.
Stark, I feel like, is a more advanced, not advanced for sure, but more advanced kind of English word that we use. So it's even your questions about English are intelligent for sure. So yeah, you're doing great. I can understand you fully. And when you don't know something, you ask, which I absolutely love as a quality in people in general. So yeah.
Aww. Aww. I'm blushing.
Oh, Timmy said, I'm sorry, I can't hold it in, my laughter. Timmy said, this is a trap. It's one of the most simple yet most hilarious comments that I think I've seen in these lives. This is a trap.
I keep thinking of Admiral Akbar, and it's a trap. Yes, it is a
Would
trap
call the
because only idiots
conversation.
would not affirm transgender individuals.
That makes
Good.
me awesome. Aww. Thank you.
Stowed. Yeah, stowed.
Hey.
It's stoat. It's a type of weasel, Chavo.
Okay. Speaking of, Stowe can tell you this. Any shit that I'm saying to you is truth or my like honest opinion.
Yeah.
I don't fucking hold back. And again,
Like,
like
the
just
thing is
because
also, you don't have to, like, defend yourself because, like, he has Party King Extraordinary at your service as a bio, so that says everything. So.
yeah, but
No.
just so you know, like
Like,
everything
if
that
I
I
want to lose brain cells, I'm talking to my mom.
No, I didn't even
Iconic.
crash out
Sorry.
yesterday. That's the funny thing, is that I just left because they were insinuating that what's her name
Bye.
was like messing with
Okay,
kids.
bye.
And I'm like,
Where's
yeah,
that
I'm not
from?
gonna be in a room where they insinuate these kinds of things. I won't be
But
back there
look,
because I'm
like,
blocked anyways.
wait, look. Like, this person, this Chavo, whoever, like,
Lucho Chavo.
why he's joining the live stream again, like, you lost it yesterday. So yesterday, and probably he's not following, and then he joined again today. Like, huh?
Sad.
Huh?
He's obsessed.
That says
We've
everything.
established this much.
Like, imagine your life is so miserable that you're joining streams with a discussion you hate. Huh, doesn't make sense. Just saying.
Yeah, it was yesterday though they were insinuating that Adney was like grooming kids, and
It's either Andy or Andy, I think.
I think it's Andy.
Andy.
Andy?
Andy. I know Andy.
Okay,
I know
yeah,
Andy.
so
Yeah.
people were
It's
insinuating
short
that
Andrea.
she was like messing with kids, and she was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit here and like if host is not gonna do anything about it, I'm gonna fucking leave. I'm like, yep, bye, I'm going too if that's the case, because like that's fucked up. Like these are just like fallaciously criminal ad homs that are just stupid.
Yeah, Andy is honestly a pretty good person, to be fair. Also, by the way, this whole time I've been on mute and shit because I've been playing a game with my friends at the same time.
Okay, well, hi, while you're off mute. I've been meaning to say hello.
Hi.
I
Hi,
was-
friend.
What the fuck did my friend just... They just booked themselves onto the map.
Oops.
Hey, thanks
The
for the follow.
stupidity of the
It's me.
chat.
No way.
I'm just gonna say, this is my friend. This is
yeah.
my friend playing a stupid golf game. I'm currently spectating whilst I'm gapping the shit out of them right now.
Just why?
Tell me why.
That's his name. Not his actual name, obviously. But
Tell me why. Oh man, we're gonna get copyright strike, or we're gonna get a copyright strike for that. On point.
Tell me why.
That was great.
Saint Odsky.
Thank you for indulging in that fun times with me, friends.
Tell me why.
It's gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the night.
I hope so.
So can I rant a little bit? It's a really dumb rant.
Okay.
So I have.
Whose live is this, Stoat?
Yeah, so I mean, I just
I
wanted to
missed
make sure it's fine with you. I mean,
missed
it was like a rhetorical question.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so like I have a
Yeah,
mouse.
I had it, but
I have.
I keep mildly missing it. I either overshoot or undershoot.
Yeah, so I have a
No,
rival, a SteelSeries.
I need to shoot it a little harsher than that.
Are you
There
gonna
we go.
Giddy?
Yes. What? How did I get 11? I did 3 strokes. I did 3 strokes.
Just joking out about the strokes.
Oh my god, I've been reset. Wait, let me check something. If you click reset it.
Shh. Okay, thanks friends. Thanks for the silence. Yeah, so I have this mouse and the right click or the left click on it went out, so I took it apart, unsoldered the old mouse button and put a new one in, and it's going Fritz again, and it's annoying. Okay, rant over. I just wanted to get that off my chest because it's fucking annoying me. Because it's something I already fixed once, and I'm like, no, just work.
Get some mouse traps then.
You know what?
Ba-bumps.
Get some mouse traps
You know what?
then.
You know what? You know what?
What?
Your mouse.
My what?
You are a mouse.
I'm not a mouse.
Oh, I wanted to make a joke.
Oh, well, that's a stoat in the background, if that's what
Yeah,
you're
but
insinuating.
it's not funny also. Nah.
I like how when Germany made their super heavy, they named it the Mouse, even though it was this big mass, like the largest tank ever made, basically almost. And like, yes, it's the Mouse.
Which tank? What?
The Mouse, the MAUS.
Mouse. MAUS.
Yeah, it's a tank that Germany developed in World War II. The
A what?
Kampfwagen 8 Maus.
I don't get what you say. Can you say it for dummies?
Yeah, it's the Panzerkampfwagen VII Maus.
I don't know that I only know the tiger.
Yeah, so
And we're
it's
talking about like VAR.
yeah, so the
You know, even if we understand English, this is difficult to understand, just to be fair, and
here,
to put that out there.
I'll just do one of these.
Okay,
This
good. I
is
thought I'm like extra dumb or something.
where is I'll have to do one of these real quick.
You're not. It's just most even English speakers primarily do not get quite entirely.
Okay. Sweet.
Germany also had their own where did this go?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's this little guy.
I mean, I have no idea about tanks.
It's huge.
I
This
just
thing
know
is huge.
Tiger. It's maybe a tiger. Just maybe Google tiger tank.
Yeah, I know
don't
what the tiger tanks are. The tigers are like comparatively small.
But it looks like a tiger. Look at the pattern. It's a tiger.
No, the tiger is
Are you saying it looks like the animal, the tiger?
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what we
Thank
mean.
you. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
So Germany also had a tank called the Tiger in World War II.
It looks like a
Tiger
tiger.
tank.
Look at this. It looks
Is
like a
a tank,
tiger.
right? Why are you not showing the Panzerfaust?
The Panzerfaust.
The Panzerfaust.
You sound British.
The Panzerfaust.
No. The Panzerfaust.
Yeah,
wait,
Germany's...
aren't you actually British, Solid?
No.
No.
Yeah, like the accent is Australia or like UK. There's
Yeah.
nothing in between.
You're not off.
Yeah.
Australia might be off, but you're not off with the UK assumption.
He said
I'm
nah,
from New
so it's
Zealand.
UK because
I'm
if he
from
would
New
be
Zealand.
Australia,
Oh my
he would
goodness.
say nah.
Right?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
Look at who joined most recently. It's Micah Oyster Martini Lotus. I wish Bernie was here.
Oh.
I love that.
No,
Nah.
this is let's see. Let me get this new image up. Where is it at? Yeah, the tiger
No.
was the tiger's the one in the
It
front.
looks the same, just another color, just like a dinosaur.
Yeah, do you see the one in the front though? That was a tiger, and that was considered like
Dinosaur.
a medium heavy tank. And then there's the mouse, which is just huge. It weighed like 3 times as much. It was like the definition of a big fuck off tank, and it was kind of great for that. I don't think they ever really made them though to the front lines.
I have
'cause-
no fucking idea. I'm just a small girl from Germany. I have no idea.
Yeah, you should know more about tanks than no.
I can tell you other stuff.
I swear though, Germany and their tiger and their tank names. Oh my god! Don't even get me started. They're so long. They're so long.
Like I know a
Alexa.
lot about like the Second World War, but not about tanks.
Yeah.
See, we're smart in other areas. But again, that all before, especially before pictures, sounded like gibberish. Just gibberish. So it's okay. We're not dumb. It just means we're smart in other areas, is all.
I'm smart. Oh,
I believe it.
okay, good, sweet.
Hi, Astrid.
Okay, guess which pet
Do
I
we have an op? Guess which pet you have?
Yeah, just ask
Can you
random
give us,
questions.
like, A, B, C, D options?
No, you have 3 guesses, all of you.
Cat.
No.
A lizard.
1, but no.
Ferret.
What? But no?
Worm, but no.
Oh, I'm warm. Oh, so it's probably like a reptile. So my last guess is a snake.
Oh, let's guess.
Turtle?
Was I right?
No.
Oh, damn.
Otherwise, I wouldn't say let's guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Hi, hip hop. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, 32
Frog?
Ian.
Do you disagree with the background or the
Turtle.
prompt?
Um,
I love how
mean,
the new guest is like, let me guess. Sorry.
Was that your last guess? Because I couldn't hear it. Sometimes I'm deaf.
turtle was my guess.
Oh.
Mine was
But
frog.
Oh, I would love to have a frog, like a toad.
They're cute.
Yeah, they are. I had one as a child. Anyway, I have a Mexican red-kneed tarantula.
Oh my god. I have a phobia of bugs and spiders. I
Oh,
don't know
perfect.
why.
I'm the opposite.
They're little and sketchy, and some of them bite you, and I
No.
did have a tarantula walk over my hands once in like 6th grade at camp. But other than that, I do not like spiders. I will yell for
Maybe she
somebody
doesn't
else in
like
my
you.
house to take care of it. What was that?
Maybe she doesn't like you.
Maybe they don't like me. Yeah, that's so right. And I know they're just as, if not more, scared of us than we are of them. So that's why I say phobia. It's irrational. I logically understand this. But okay. Anyways, sorry. I'll let guests start conversation that's more on topic and such, but that's cool nonetheless. Send me pictures if you want. Okay.
You can go on my profile. I have like a video online with her.
Good to know. Thank you.
okay, so yeah, depends on how far you go with the transgender care, the affirmative care. How young. So that's always going to be the main factor. If you're talking an adult who doesn't do it on the taxpayer dollar, I have no objection to that whatsoever. Might be against promoting it in media and whatnot, but as far as people being able to get it, I definitely, there are worse things out there than adults getting these cares or whatever you want to call them.
What do you mean by promoting it in the media? Sorry, I just want to elaborate real quick.
Well, I
Did you
think
saw
it's,
the video?
like of course, mainly the what disgusts me the most is when I see it like on Nickelodeon and whatnot. And of course, I don't, because I think environment can influence children to be swayed in that direction. Subconsciously. Obviously, it's not a choice.
Are you referring to just a trans person being in Nickelodeon shows?
No, like promoting it. Yeah, they have, like pro-trans messages and whatnot. Yeah, it's not just like, oh, they're trans, and that's it. But it's like, and
what?
now we got to do the pronouns thing. We got to explain the pronouns. We got to explain that
No,
how
no,
they
no.
feel.
Wait.
Pronouns
No, wait. Yeah.
is
And they had the drag
Wait.
queen thing. That was, come on.
Wait. So, are you against pronouns?
Preferred pronouns, it's like, it's it's unnecessary, and it's,
Okay. What do you
would it
think?
be
Wait. Okay, wait. What do you think hip hop? What pronouns are?
the way that you address people, or it's I think that you can have like personal and
No. What do you think pronouns are? Like very short, just one sentence.
I can't really describe like what they are. I just know how to use them in a sentence and whatnot, and that some of them are gendered. I, you, he, they. All these things are pronouns used to
Exactly.
describe. What's that?
So you can't be against them because you said that before.
Preferred pronouns I can be
she,
against
her,
because
he, him, I.
they're
you.
already established. You don't get to make your
Would
own.
it shock you to find out that preferred pronouns are actually not preferred, but actually correct?
It makes it difficult because when people are, if they're passing, then it's like a little easier. But when they're like talking like me and they, you're supposed to call me she, her, it can be, annoying. And they, them is the absolutely most frustrating one that I just don't ever think I'd be okay
Why?
with.
Look, Hip Hop, I'm she,
Because
her,
once the
right?
gender is known, yeah, go ahead.
I'm she, her, and you are he, him, right? I would assume.
Right.
So that's it.
Yeah, and you would assume correctly, and you
Are
you shouldn't have
pronouns
to
like what?
try to learn how to address people and not mess up. And if you mess up, then they feel terrible, and then they gotta you gotta worry about making them feel bad and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's like if I would say, let's say, from a other person, say the pronouns is wrong. So the healthy thing is when this person would say, "Hey, I would appreciate if you call me like he, him, they, them, she, her, whatever." I'm like, okay, cool, point. So that's the healthy way. Maybe you're talking about the unhealthy way when they make like a drama and a scene about that you can see like their pronouns on the first sight. You know what I mean? Are you talking about that?
Right.
Or
Yeah, that I do respect the pronoun thing, but some people don't want to, and for some people it's
You
more
just said-
difficult.
yeah, that's why I'm talking about the healthy way and the unhealthy way to communicate it.
That's the thing, though. It's unhealthy for someone to feel absolutely horrible about themselves when they get misgendered, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the healthy way is that. So I think we all can agree that the unhealthy way is like making a scene and like being angry about it when it's not like obvious, you know? So that's
Right.
about
Obviously, some people feel stronger about it than others about being misgendered.
yeah, so that's also like healthy communication then. Like if I say, "Hey, that's these are not my pronouns. I would appreciate if you would say this and that." Cool. That's the point. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, and there's a bunch
cool.
of other
That's
little idiosyncrasies that
what does
that we have to.
idiosyncrasy mean? Sorry, English is not my first language. What does that word mean?
Oh, I guess just like little nuances that you have to change. Like again, with the example of that, I'm not good at I'm not good at articulating, words. So I'm just gonna give you the definition.
Yeah, like
It's
idiosyncrasies are like little
behavior,
parts.
way of thought. It's a way of thought. So like
Oh my god,
it's
I
like,
have a
oh well,
bug.
prefer pronoun.
Can we hear what host had to say real quick, please?
I have a bug here. Let me throw him out the window. One second.
I couldn't hear what host said because other people were speaking.
I didn't hear host say anything.
He definitely said something.
I did say something.
Can you hear me now?
For me,
No.
please? It was just other people speaking. You're good.
Yeah, so idiosyncrasies are emotive behavior way or thought particular to an individual. It would be like a particular habit, trait, or mannerism unique to an individual. So
yeah, like pronoun, preferred pronouns, like, oh, I want you to call me this, or and
Again, what if I told you
that
they were correct pronouns, not preferred pronouns?
Well, correct would be the one that people, there are some people who may get misgendered as cisgender people because, they're somewhat ambiguous for whatever reason. But that's rare in most cases. And for trans people, it's like even when they try to be ambiguous or entirely the other gender, they're going to get often misgendered. There's some people who really, like it's easier when you see their face, because then you at least have that look that they're going for. If they're going for the traditional gender um, norm, like long hair and makeup, purse, and all this stuff, they're going for that look, and you can tell that they're woman. Well, I'll call them a woman. Then it's easier. But when it's just a voice, and the voice isn't, it can trip me up. And for the they them is easy for me to use in the singular tense when, I don't know the gender of the person. But once I
So
know,
it's
or I
easy
have an
and
idea,
certain when you know that they, for example, use they them pronouns because you, again, for example, were to ask and they said, hey, I use they them pronouns. Why is that difficult then? That
because
spider
they
is
and them,
amazing, by the way.
Come on, little
they them
boy.
is used again when it's not known. It's like you're talking over the phone or you're talking about someone online, and they don't have a picture or a name. They just have a username, and it's like so you say they, like, oh, what did they say? Oh, well, they said this, and it's like, oh, I'm a girl. All right, well, she said this, and now it's she, because and it's
But
like going
I'm
back from
telling
that
you,
is like very difficult.
in this scenario, this person, you find out they use they them pronouns. So what is the difference or difficulty that you run into when you find out somebody uses they them pronouns that would stop you from being able to refer to them properly and respectfully in the third person?
Mainly because um, again, once it just naturally from my, language isn't, I didn't know, back 5 years ago, I couldn't tell you what pronouns were, but obviously I know how to use them, so language is like, your
Oh,
brain
so
just
five
knows.
years ago you didn't have like a first grade understanding of things?
Well, that's what
That's
I'm saying. I did
sad.
have a first grade understanding of things, but I didn't, just because I didn't have
I was introduced to
it's like,
pronouns early
it's
on,
like,
so.
it's like not knowing, the definition of idiosyncrasy, but knowing how to use it in a sentence. There's a difference between the two. Not knowing
Which
a
you
definition
really
of a
didn't
word.
use properly in said sentence, by the way.
Actually, I did. That would definitely be an idiosyncrasy.
So explain that. Elaborate on that for us.
Well, okay, so then I'm not going to say you don't have a, education because you didn't know this. But yeah, so
So
yeah, it's just a certain behavior. It's just a certain way of being, and having a
how
certain
does that
pronoun or a
fit
nickname or
into
something
the
fall
sentence
under
that
that.
you said? You said something along the lines of that there were idiosyncrasies that that could help you understand when people are trans and when they're not. Shit like that. Something like that. Explain
Yeah,
that.
so there are a bunch of different preferences and behaviors and whatnot that we're supposed to, accept, affirm, and learn how to interact with in a certain way that wouldn't offend them and cause them to unalive themselves. And that's why,
Is that wrong in some way? Do you not want to
not
affirm
nearly.
people when it's like medically proven to improve their state of being?
Yeah, I'm not going to, put my faith in the science that's pretty young at this point, and I think funded by
Hmm.
people who want a certain answer. We did for lobotomies for how many decades? I'm not going to just automatically say
That's
like, oh, well,
not
it's proven to be
analogous.
Oh, I have a t-shirt that says,
absolutely
not
analogous.
even lobotomy could save me.
But to be clear, even though this science is quote unquote new to you at least, um, it's definitely progressed for decades, definitely long enough to be taken seriously by at least people with two functioning brain cells. So why don't you take this seriously?
So I take it into consideration. I'm not going to outright say they're wrong, but I'm certainly not going to call it proven. As we know, science is not about proof. That's actually the whole point of science.
It,
It's
it,
always
it's
open to
so
being questioned,
you
and
are
it can always
ignoring
be
the evidence then? Because science certainly has
so the
lots of
word consideration
evidence.
does not mean anything to you. Yeah,
So
so I'm going
you're
to take all that
considering it,
into
but it
consideration.
doesn't
Can I interrupt?
inform a viewpoint. In 1 second, it doesn't inform your viewpoint of like trans people and how you should treat them.
Right, yeah, so I'm not going to, it's not going to supersede my opinion on the matter just quite yet. It has swayed
Oh,
some
the
of my,
science
you
isn't
know,
going to supersede opinions. Got it. It's about feelings. Good to know. Okay, go ahead, Alexa.
Okay. Hip hop. What's your
yeah,
name?
I
How
don't have
can
faith
I?
in science. You shouldn't either.
What's your name? Hip hop.
Hip hop, yep.
You have a name? You can also say a fake name.
Anon.
Anon? Okay. How old are you?
32.
Okay. I'm 33. So, do you have children?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want children in the future?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what if one of your children is outing themselves as trans or gay, lesbian, whatever how would you react, or how would you feel about it for your own children?
So yeah, since this is a big thing, I would definitely try to nip it in the bud from the beginning and teach them what, my perspective on things. That's what you do. Generally you teach your children your values and hope that they turn out the best because, as a parent, that's, the best you can do.
Also, I hope you know that being gay or whatever, that it's not a choice, right?
Yeah, I do not believe that it is a choice, even if I do believe environmental factors play a part. The thing is, I'm not going to tell them that they're not trans. What I'm going to tell them is that that their gender is determined and that they can't change it. But if they want
What
to,
does determined mean? Sorry.
as in it, well, I'm going to say it's set in stone. It is.
You're conflating sex and
Immutable.
gender then? You think
It's
they're the
immutable.
same?
I do think there is
but
that it's a requirement to be man. You need to be male.
Okay, so yes, you are
oh,
conflating
no,
them.
wait.
Got it.
But
They're not the
wait.
same, but they are interlocked.
So, would you support your kid if they came out?
Well, yeah, so they wouldn't be coming out as trans, but they would be saying like, I like to dress this way, or I like to dress like a girl, and I'd be like, okay,
So
but
is that
they wouldn't be
yeah?
a girl; they would dress like a girl.
That's different from being
No,
trans.
wait. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
why
they just wouldn't be calling it that.
No, because if you have a boy and the boy wants to dress or get dressed with dresses, doesn't make him as a transgender. As I said before, I'm cis woman and I played with dinosaurs, Godzilla. I played what's the name? Not football. It's a different English. Anyway,
Rugby.
I did all the boy shit.
Soccer?
Soccer?
Soccer, yeah.
Okay.
Do I look like I do all this stuff? No, doesn't make me
Rugby?
transgender. But my parents supported that, even if my mom is toxic AF. Anyway, yeah, of course, it doesn't mean that the children are trans, but it's
Well, that's the
also
thing.
possible. Sorry.
Transgender will not be a thing. It's just transgender is a word to describe someone identifying a certain way, and I will be telling them that they can be, they can be like that, but they can't, you can identify as anything you want, but it's not going to change what you are.
So you just disagree with science?
Yeah, you can have
conflating sex and
opinion.
gender like this.
You can have an
Yeah,
opinion that
it's
disagrees
a
with science.
social
You're just
construct.
wrong at that point.
Yeah,
Your version of gender is social construct, so that social construct will not exist in that form.
That's not true.
I mean, you
It's a
can.
neuropsychosocial construct.
I actually had a question on that,
You
right?
know,
So if you deny science, right, and you don't believe how science defines male, female, and gender identity, right, then how can you differentiate between male and female if you don't believe generally the consensus of science and medical science and medicine? Can you tell me how your brain is somehow better than the consensus of medicine as a whole and biology, like the study of it?
better is subjective, and you know, I just prefer my way, and that's, you know, my prerogative. I don't disagree with science. I'm actually very, you know, I very much take science very seriously, and I am taking the science seriously, but it's still in the early stages, and I do think there's bias. So we'll have to see how things turn out in the next 10 to 20 years.
Define early stages.
Um, the studies that were done, you know, 20, 50 years ago, they are, you know, very different than the ones that are being conducted today.
How?
And of course, you know, had they been so valid up until this point, we would have changed, you know, these things a long time ago. We would have had these preferred pronouns. There would have been more transgender care and transgender, all this stuff.
So that's not how that works. For a wide variety of reasons. For the biggest one being, just because something is accepted in science and medicine does not mean it will be accepted socially. Homosexuality, for example, was accepted in science and medicine long before it was accepted socially. That was accepted in science and medicine in the 30s, 40s, and gay marriage wasn't legalized until 10 years ago.
Accepted in what way?
In medicine.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying like
also,
in
also
how was
to
it accepted?
interrupt, like medicine, etc. Like if you like watch any documentary about, let's say, women or feminism, like back in the 60s, etc., or 50s, like science was women have hysteria and they need like
Am I losing internet?
alcohol or like
That
go
was
to a
actually
doctor
much
together.
older. That's not that recent. Hysteria came
but
from.
like there was like the high of that stuff. Like but
No,
the
that was
that
you're
was
talking about like ancient Greek times. Hysteria, the belief of hysteria coming from the
I
uterus,
want to like make a
going up into the
point.
brain, came from ancient Greek
No,
philosophy and ancient Greek medicine.
wait. The point is just science because it's some, I don't know, was it hip hop or you? I don't know. Said, but science back then, like it was not serious because like now we have these transgender stuff.
Yeah, so that what? I don't understand your point.
Yeah, like I had my point and I forgot ADHD.
Anyways, the point is, this has been approved and agreed upon in science, in the science medicine community for a very long time. It's not really up for debate,
How long?
especially in psychology. Especially in psychology, right?
go ahead.
Just because something's not
About
just because it's
30
not accepted.
years.
Yeah, just because it's not accepted socially does not mean it has not been accepted scientifically in the medical community, right? Not to mention that even ignoring the prevalence of gender identity in science and medicine, right? Even ignoring the multiple case studies we have on that, referencing how important that is, you're still ignoring how sex has been defined for the last 60 years, roughly, because sex has always been deemed as mutable from the time we understood how sex development works.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that, but let's start from the beginning. I disagree with the whole thing. So yeah, go ahead and tell me how, in what way was it accepted by the healthcare community, the medical community?
Yeah, so believe it or not, puberty blockers and transgender healthcare was given to transgender individuals for the last 30 to 40 years, even before that. The issue is no one was taking their doctors to see that, and doctors weren't used to that, right? Just because a condition is rare does not mean it's not accepted and it doesn't exist. That's why we have examples of transgender youth coming out and transitioning in the 70s and in the 80s. I personally know a trans woman who came out and medically transitioned with the help of medical professionals in the 70s, right? That was still something that was widely accepted. And for example, the case of David Reimer. Do you know what happened with David Reimer by chance?
Oh, I do.
Nope.
Yeah, so the importance of that case is not to show that people disagreed with the notion of gender identity when the fucking hysterical professor put that out there, right? What they disagreed was was with the notion that gender identity is purely environmental, right? So all the contested articles that came from that studies, and you can look this up yourself too, because there are tons of them that contested what happened with David Reimer and contested the theory that gender identity is social, showed that it is both social and biological, but
Sorry,
mostly innate and mostly
sorry, can you
biological, which I
speak a
strongly
little bit
recommend. Can you
slower?
not interrupt me?
Yeah,
Holy
can you
shit!
speak a little
It-
slower because I'm interested. Because
You're interrupting me, right? I can't. I'm almost done.
I'm
I'm almost done.
interested.
I'm
But
almost
you're
done. I'm
talking
almost
too
done.
much.
I'm almost done.
No, not too much. Oh my god, I'm
I'm
sorry.
almost done. I'm almost done. Okay, thank you. Right. So the whole contention with that wasn't that it existed or didn't exist. The condition was that the belief of how it came about and what it was rooted in, right? Because I forgot the name of the doctor, because honestly he's a piece of shit, was claiming that it's purely social when we have evidence, and the David Reimer case study and other case studies around that time showed that it is biological and innate. And that is where I was landing my plane.
And so, when did they stop considering it a mental illness by these major organizations?
So it was actually never considered a mental illness. It was always considered a mental disorder, and that specifically refers to gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Right? Having something considered a mental disorder does not necessarily mean it's a mental illness. Those are two different categories.
All right, I'm gonna
Well,
interrupt
actually,
real
no, it's
quick.
not. Actually, mental illness is a
Hip-hop,
mental disorder.
Everyone mute up real quick for a mod break. A couple of things. First of all, like the live. We've been live for a while and don't even have 1,000 likes. I'm setting a goal for 10K.
No,
With
don't like the
us in
live.
here, we can.
I forbid you.
Don't do it.
Anybody who likes live will be
the
kicked and
shares-
no.
The shares are at 2, and I was one of them. I will share more, but please share the live. If you enjoy these conversations, even if you're opposition, this is vital. The last thing that I'll say is, first of all, it's kind of a two-parter. First of all, some of us have 1, auditory processing disorder, 2, English is not our first language, or 3, we have difficulty articulating our speech at times, and in my case, due to cataplexy. But there are lots of reasons that things can be more difficult to understand when I'm speaking sometimes, or when others are speaking sometimes. So the second part is that people who are using speech to text are definitely around a lot. So the importance of not speaking over each other is very vital to make sure that people of all different abilities can participate and chat and come up if they want to. So just try not to overspeak each other for that reason as well. Okay, thank you. I think that's all.
I would actually say
we got to
Alexa works.
1-1. Let's get.
Yeah, this was one of the few reasons, or times that I think that interrupting was fine. She was just asking us to speak a little bit slower because English isn't her first language, so it's a little bit harder for them to understand or hear us, and for them to process it all in time. So I think that's a little bit. I think that's fine to interrupt there. So.
Yeah, so mental illness and mental disorder are interchangeable terms according to the National Institute of Health. Regardless, the connotation that they each have, clearly shows that the medical community was not entirely accepting, as much as you are trying to paint them as, of these disorders or illnesses until. Okay, a moderator tried to make me turn on my camera. Maybe that was a mistake.
Just kidding. It's all sick kitty.
But yeah, so that's the thing. It's like this is it did, sort of obviously it really skyrocketed in prevalence or frequency, just a decade ago. And maybe in some parts it didn't reach, like in my area of New York, I think it hit us a few years later than in areas like California.
Host, can you bring up like the left-handed statistics to explain this? Possibly,
Yeah, I can totally.
I know
I already know this left-handed thing. I already know the whole thing. and I think that accounts for some of it.
So
That
mental disorder and
accounts
mental
for all of it.
illness are not interchangeable. Disorder specifically refers to a disordered way of thinking or a disordered movement or disordered function. Illness refers to something that can and is and requires treatment. Those are two very different things.
I said
Both in
according
terms
to
of
the NIH.
Period,
health
mama.
as well as physical health. Which is why, like, for example, I have multiple physical disorders. I don't necessarily have illnesses, right? Illnesses tend to refer to things that are contagious or curable.
Just according to the NIH, that was my source.
Yeah. What? Can you give me a PMID for that?
A PMID.
Yeah.
That's what the
Just like
article
literally,
number is.
If you aren't familiar with it, it should be right at the top before even the title of the article on PubMed.
I mean, it's just NIH.gov. It's biomedical definitions.
Not that high up. Right above the name of the article. Definitely below the URL or website.
Yeah, this
in between.
is NIH.gov. Again,
You don't see PMID anywhere?
It's not a study. It's just the National Institute of Health.gov.
Which
appendix,
contains
biomedical definitions. You don't need
okay.
Are you serious?
I am.
Biomedical definitions.
They are actually looking
NIH.gov.
at the appendix.
See, appendix was the clarity that we needed. Thank you.
Yeah, it says in mental health that the terms mental disorder, mental illness, and psychiatric disorder are used interchangeably. And obviously, this is going to change from institution to institution.
I can't find that in the appendix.
I have it. It's under disorder. But the DSM-5 is very clear with how it lays out these different things. I'm not super familiar because I've never actually gotten. I really wish I would have a copy of the DSM, because that should
being trans itself.
Yeah,
as you'll say.
Yeah, DSM-5 trumps the NIH appendix because the NIH appendix, all that really is a library
authority fallacy.
Yeah, so it's not, right. The NIH is specifically for physical and anatomical medicine. It does go over psychiatric care as well, but it's mostly going to refer to a library, right? That's what
I reject your premise.
I don't care. You're interrupting me, right? So the DSM is quite literally for diagnosing and categorizing mental illnesses and mental disorders. So if you're going to say that NIH, why are you inviting me to turn on my camera?
Stop it, Snake, please.
But at the same point, you can reject the premise, but I can also just bring up the DSM saying that they're different. So are you going to reject the DSM versus the NIH? Or are you going to, if you accept the NIH, then you also have to accept that that the DSM is part of the NIH and in the NIH, right? So you're going to have to accept.
I'm not going to reject any definition, even your personal definition.
It's not my personal definition. This isn't a DSM-5.
Don't speak when others are speaking. Thank
And
you.
just-
I'm not going to reject any.
Just to clarify for
Even your own
Alexa, the DSM is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual for mental health, or what is?
Mental health.
Yeah, so for mental disorders, 5th edition. It's usually DSM-V. It is the most up-to-date version.
You'll want to look at the TR though.
Yeah,
Because TR is the most updated. DSM-5 TR to be clear.
It's something that's published by the American Psychiatric Association, or the APA, and it's what we use here in the U.S. to diagnose individuals with conditions for the most part. The most common, the most apt thing to compare it to would be the ICD, I think -11. I think that's what they use over in Germany. Mr.
We use the ICD-11 code. We use ICD codes here too. We use both.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, so they're working towards transitioning to the ICD-11. They use the BFARM currently, the Federal Institute for Drugs and Medical Devices. So,
are you asking if it's? Sorry, 1 second, Alexa. If you're asking if it's OCD, we're saying ICD, like your eyeballs, but the letter, like myself, me. The
I'm allowed
ICD
to
11.
look again. Yeah,
I can type it if it helps.
Google it.
So I googled, what the DSM-5 says, and of course it's an AI overview, so take it with a grain of salt. It says disorder is a technical term, in the DSM-5 for a diagnosable mental condition, while illness is a broader lay term, often used interchangeably, but also encompassing physical health. So yeah, regardless, definitely is something that was considered mental disorder or illness, whatever you want to call it, up until recently, 12 years ago. And the World Health Organization didn't change it in their definition until 2019. So, it's becoming more accepted in the medical establishments, and they're updating their,
Science
guidelines.
evolves. Wow.
Yeah, so that's just not true. Right. So being transgender was never having never a mental disorder at all. It never was. Right.
Gender
So
identity disorder.
yeah, I'm about to explain that, right? Gender identity disorder had a very specific diagnostic criteria, and it requires more than just having incongruence with the sex assigned to you at birth, right? You have to fit other diagnostic criteria to have gender identity disorder. Gender dysphoria is a replacement for gender identity disorder, which has a little bit different guidelines, but generally very similar, and it's essentially renaming gender identity disorder. And gender dysphoria, it's still a disorder, right? The difference is when they updated gender identity disorder to gender dysphoria, they clarified very clearly, right? Because this was still part of the gender identity disorder or GID, right? But they made a bigger emphasis on the fact that gender dysphoria is a stress-based condition, right? But it's still listed in the DSM-5 as a mental disorder for very specific reasons. Those reasons mainly being so insurances can cover it, and so as a code to get treatment for it. And it's always going to be in a DSM-5 as a mental disorder, right? Because unlike with homosexuality, where there is no treatment to psychological treatment to treat that or make someone feel better about that with medicine, there is absolutely a way to do that with gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder or having a gender incongruence, right? So that is why those codes will still exist and will always exist in the DSM-5. In whatever
Can I say the German translation that I googled? What it means? The DSM-V? Yeah.
Yeah, you can type in 5 or V. Either way will work.
Yeah, like it said, like in at the definition, it says like, so we behavior. I try to explain it that we not get banned.
Yeah.
And wait,
Sorry.
like the second one is describing race. And like cultural. Oh my god, I don't know what can I say without getting banned.
Yeah,
What?
so just to clarify, the DSM-3 originally introduced gender identity disorder as gender identity disorder of childhood and then transsexualism, which then evolved into just gender identity disorder in, I believe, 1994, right? So either way, this was introduced into the DSM and widely accepted and known to exist, right? And known to be treated with the only treatment to be letting this person transition as early as 1980.
Okay. Like when I like typed in the words that Cole said, like there came nothing, like no description with that at all.
Give me a second. Let me do let's do English to German, and I'll just give it into your in your own language.
I don't know what the mix-up was. No, it's not your fault at all. Absolutely not your fault. I apologize if any direction that I gave led to a search leading to misinformation, disinformation, or not what I thought it was leading to, you know? But yeah, the DSM or ICD-11 I put in there, which is used more like across the globe than the DSM-5 is, or DSM-5 TR, which is what I specifically put and what you specifically said. I heard it. So kudos also for like paying enough attention to keep up and see what's going on. But yeah, those are what's used pretty much globally, fully, those two together, to diagnose these things. And it sounds like Keaton is, oh, there we go. There's your own language.
Yay!
The
Thank
best we
you.
can do to help you understand what the DSM-5 is saying.
Yeah, so let's go back to the DSM-3, which was brought up about treating them with hormones, therapy, and surgery. The thing is that these weren't to affirm their gender identity. It was to align the person's body with their assigned SMECs. So that would be giving them hormones that were congruent with their assigned SMECs, not their gender identity, and that was the way it was treated back then. So again, this has not been
Evidence for that being good?
Yeah, that's
I don't
actually.
know.
We know
I'm
what
not making an argument
happens.
that it's good. What I'm saying
That's
is that
actually
it's
not
not
true.
treated.
You're blatantly lying.
It actually is true. If you want to go ahead and pull up a source, which you haven't done a single time.
Want me to
Oh,
give-
we have plenty, but you're making
I
a
can give you
positive
PMID
claim right now.
easily. You don't have a source for anything you've claimed, right? If you want to claim that the treatment for these conditions was to force them on hormones, that aligning with their sex, that's just not true, right? I can give sources stating that they forcibly transitioned people in South Africa in late 90s, right? Or the late 19,000s. I don't remember if it was the 90s or 80s. I can give tons of sources, but the thing is, the issue I'm having right now, more specifically, is the fact that if you want to subscribe specifically to the NIH's definitions, then you would have to subscribe to the fact that sex is mutable, because the NIH specifically states in multiple sources that they publish through PubMed, right, which is associated with the NIH, that sex is mutable.
You can argue that some science suggests that, but the scientific consensus, especially at the time, was that it was immutable. It still is considered.
What do you mean at the time?
Immutable.
What do you mean at the time?
You're talking about the 1980s?
No, I'm not talking about the 1980s. I'm talking about
90s,
now.
2000s. Now? Okay. I thought you said it was generally considered mutable.
No, I said it is generally. It's not generally. It is mutable, right? And it has been considered mutable for 20 or so years. And we're talking about science, and this is really important to get into, right? Because honestly, it doesn't really matter when we're talking about what past science is. Because if you actually have ever done research in your life or have been to any college course to do research, right? The scientific consensus in terms of research is that if anything is older than 10 years, you cannot necessarily use it as a source unless it's 10 to 20 years, especially in psychology. I think psychology restricts it to 5 to 10 years. So generally, anything before 2005 is going to generally be considered not usable as a source.
Yeah, I'm not using it as a source, but the argument we're having is whether or not the medical community accepted it generally back then, and that it just took society a while to catch up. And my argument is that it was not considered, so accepted, and that you should affirm the gender identity with hormones and whatnot in 1980.
Are you saying it wasn't accepted amongst society, or it wasn't accepted amongst medical professionals?
Well, of course, society, but yeah, medical professionals is the argument.
I actually
Okay.
argue it was accepted amongst society in the mid and early 2010s, up until.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, good. Oh, that's all I was done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that it's
And
generally accepted.
listen, real quick. Actually, the terms transgender and cisgender were coined in the 1990s by a cisgender, I believe, woman. But I know that whoever they were cisgender, and that's when it started to become accepted in the medical community.
I do also remember they were a biologist. And the cis and trans are both they're based off of the Latin prefix of cis and trans, which means to be on the same side or the opposite side of, or I mean, it also is used as north and south if we're being technical about it. But that's why we have like the trans alpine and cis alpine. But that's
Yep,
beside the point.
I'm aware.
So yeah, that's the reasoning for it.
Yeah. Also, a quick AI overview as well as sources from the archives, which is Canada's LGBT archives, which is a Canadian government source, quite literally shows that the treatment for transsexualism in the 70s and 80s, even in the Canadian government, and it references some things outside of Canada as well, was in fact gender affirming hormone therapy as well as gender affirming surgery.
What was the source for that?
Yeah, the Canadian government, right? So digital expedition archives.ca expeditions show gender review medical. So it literally states in this article that most surgeries and gender affirming care were available in the 1970s.
Well, they also do assisted suicide over there, so I'm not going to really compare our medical system to theirs.
You don't think that MAID exists in America?
Yeah, it exists here in Colorado. Like it's a thing here. There's actually a really famous story about somebody going to drink it and they're like, oh, it burns, and then somebody's like, oh, let me see, and they had a sip of it and went to, like, they got knocked the hell out. They were fine, thankfully, but yeah, there's a really famous story about that.
Yeah.
So in the 80s, according to Harvard.
Sorry, Mama, can I clarify real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
MAID is medical assistance in unaliving, because TikTok friendly language. You can put it two and two together from there. But also, just to clarify, I know at least some of us on this panel fully support MAID. So, what's the problem?
Yeah, if you don't support MAID, if you don't support MAID, you support unnecessary suffering for individuals, which I find barbaric.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that even in the United States, it was a little bit later. We're about 10 years behind or so on that. But we actually had a John Hopkins Gender Clinic, which opened in 1966. We also had a lot of acceptance in in gender affirming surgeries in the medical society. Again, we have a Harvard source for this as well. The issue that happened back then was that the government decided, hey, this is experimental, so therefore they're not covering it. But that was in 1979 when that happened. That was in 1979 when that happened. It was accepted by medicine, but not the government. So again, you can check Harvard because Harvard has a source for that too, which is an American source, an American.
What you said was that where there was an institution which did it, not that it was generally accepted by the medical community.
You can, if you read the whole article, it literally goes through other institutions that did this and other care that was done for these individuals. It wasn't just a gender clinic. There was also other doctors who privately did this. It was a consensus amongst the medical community. There was a consensus to the point where they were trying to actively get it covered by Medicare and Medicaid and multiple insurance agencies, but the government was denying it. Right? If the government's denying it, even though the medical consensus is agreeing with it, right? That shows that the medical consensus is agreeing with it. Can you stop interrupting me, right? So you're interrupting me, right? So that already shows that the medicine as a whole back then was agreeing that this was a care needed for these individuals, right? And they were able to push that onto the government, even though the government was denying it. So that right there, the fact that they were able to push that shows that that was in fact the medical consensus, right? And that's going to be hsp.harvard.edu/news/to protect gender affirming care, we must learn from
just give me the title of the article.
Yeah, to protect transgender care, we must learn from transgender history.
I can't type that fast. Slow down. To protect
gender affirming care, we must learn from trans history, right? And if you want to reject Canadian sources just because they're Canadian, I think that's fucking insane.
Really quickly, sorry to interject. Good conversation. Glad you're citing sources and sharing them and such. But I know it might be difficult, but can you? Sorry, my cataplex is flaring. Can you try to slow down your speech a bit?
Thank you.
Every time sorry.
No, it's so fair, and I do it sometimes too. But I'm just kind of reminding you, giving you a little nudge just for making it accessible to everybody to just slow down a little bit if at all possible, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you. I know you're like all for this shit, and sometimes we all need reminders, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the issue I have is not any of you guys, but anytime I get interrupted, that pushes me to talk even faster because I'm talking quickly so I don't get interrupted, so I can finish before people interrupt me. That is why I've been like casually speeding up how I talk. The more hip hop tries to talk over me.
Stowe / Mama, real quick. Sorry, is Mama a mod?
No, I'm not.
Can you mod Mama also? I will be watching out for anybody interrupting you, so that I can nip it in the bud.
Yeah, you
best I
should
can.
add moderator. There we go.
But yeah, that's instinct for me. I apologize. I'll try to get better about that. But that is just my instinct. That's how I grew up. I'll try to put it down.
Like when I said it earlier or tried to say it, like I didn't want to interrupt you, Mama. I just wanted to say slower that I also like can keep up with the fast speaking because like yeah, English is not my first language and that was the only reason why I interrupt.
No, I get that. I'm sorry.
If that is also like a fairly valid reason to interrupt if there is one, honestly. Like, I mean, you're interrupting because you're not like this is something that you're trying to understand, and things are just going by too fast. So yeah,
exactly.
you're fine.
I was trying to keep up and was like, and I was like, yeah, and then I was overwhelmed because it was too fast. So that was the only reason earlier.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
that's so fair.
I'm just so used to people interrupting me just to interrupt. So that's why I kind of just
interrupting cow moo. No.
Moo! No, bring up the video of Tate from the Animal Sanctuary. Do you remember that video? The cow? Do you remember it, Keaton? You don't remember the video of Tate I sent you? I literally, because you say interrupting cow all the time. Yeah, so I sent you a video, and I started it, and I said, here are the interrupting cows, and like as I'm saying that, Tate just moos, and then towards the end I restate it, and he moos again at the same time I'm saying it. They're iconic. I love those animals so much. Anyways, also, I don't know if y'all know who this little disabled goat was, but R.I.P. Lexi, who was only a few years old and suddenly passed for reasons still unknown even after an autopsy. She was the most precious goat. She was adorable. She was little. She had little prosthetic legs that she could get around on a bit. And yeah, she just suddenly passed recently. So animals are great, and I hope that I brought some joy to her life that she also brought to mine. So yeah,
now you make me sad.
That totally went off track. I'm so sorry.
God damn it!
I've been sad all day.
It's all good.
I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, also, like, Mama, we're not saying this to make you feel bad either. Like, when we just remind you, I just want to make abundantly clear that it is simply a reminder and not like, God damn you, Mama, like, why do you talk so fast? Stop doing that shit, you know, like, sorry. We're friends. You're all good. So yeah, it's just reminders, that's all. Thank you for being like accepting and listening. I'm gonna shut up now. Bye.
I understand. I also have been talking with people who have gotten me to talk faster because I got myself to talk slower over time, but being on lives has gotten me to talk like my normal speech is going to be around this speed, but I've gotten used to people pushing me to talk faster because of the aforementioned reasons. So I kind of just end up talking like this, and I don't intend to, but it's just kind of what happens. That's how
sometimes.
That's so fair. Yeah, sometimes like especially before HRT, even before HRT, but especially, sorry, after HRT, my voice was so loud. It's just naturally louder than most people's voices. And it's not like something that I necessarily control. So everybody was always like, why are you being so loud? Shit like that. So I trained myself to be quieter. It's different in certain senses, but similar in others. Anyways, sorry. That back on topic, or we can all keep bunny trailing if we want. This is kind of fun.
No, I'm reading this article, and it seems to me that it was not accepted really, or that it doesn't suggest in this article that it was accepted before 2010, but it sort of just leaves out the huge gap between the 80s and 2010. So, what happened in the late 80s and 90s and 2000s, it doesn't really mention. I read most of it.
This isn't even the first time that this type of treatment has been offered. It was offered all the way back in like the 30s. But then,
Well, yeah, I'm aware of that. 1966 was the one that she
World War
mentioned.
II was the first.
and then the German
yeah.
party came in, and yeah, they didn't like that. They really didn't like it, so they burned a lot of the books and they destroyed the
Magnus
institute.
Hirschfeld.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this isn't something
Hey,
new.
you know Magnus Hirschfeld's name. I
Yeah.
I do.
mean, that's honestly more impressive than most people that come up here, so kudos for at least that.
Well, I had a long conversation about it before a couple times about the justification of burning the books and what his institute was doing and things like that.
Justification where?
What?
Whether
I
it
mean,
was, whether what he was doing and teaching was like good or bad. Obviously it wasn't as updated as nowadays, right? So you wouldn't expect
Do
it
you
to
think that burning
Yes,
books is ever, like, acceptable?
Yes.
burning Mein Kampf, yeah, 100%.
Unironically, I actually do think that there are situations where burning books is acceptable.
That's fair, but do you think that burning this research was acceptable?
Burning what?
The research, okay, so a little bit of a history lesson. Back in the 1920s, 30s, I believe, if that's correct, there was this man in Germany named Magnus Hirschfeld, and he had this entire institute. I can't remember the German name of it, or honestly the English verbatim, but it was. It was studying. It was one of the first places globally to study sex and gender and to give trans people gender affirming care. And then when World War II came about, the Nazis came and were like, F this, and then just burned out all the research. Not quite all, but large majority of the research. So that set healthcare, gender affirming care back a bit, and definitely made it inaccessible to people in that area for the time being, if that makes sense. So that's who we're talking about right now. Does that make sense now with context, Alexa?
Yeah, I couldn't understand the name properly, but I know, when burning the researchers, is that the word? We have a word.
Research.
Yeah, like books and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It called. So there was also a event. I don't know other word. I don't want to sound disrespectful. Kristallnacht in Berlin, where I was born and raised, actually. And they burned everything, every book from every Jewish person.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the comments, Stotsky, host, wrote out the name of the person.
and the
If you
institute
want to look into,
Okay.
Yep.
if you want to look into it at all, that information is there for you, for sure,
Yeah.
for anyone. So
I wouldn't. He was a eugenics advocate.
What?
excuse
If anybody
me,
was,
evidence?
wasn't. I mean, okay, let's see.
Wow, let's look into this.
Eugenics.
Let's meaning you.
Oh
And
no,
then
he
you'll
did. He did
educate all
talk
of
some others. I mean, that's not. It's not the greatest.
It doesn't mean
he can have good and bad ideas.
exactly at the same time. So it doesn't
People say that about
it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that the research that he did at his institute with these trans
you're
folks was invalid. It
Yeah,
just means that other shit he did was invalid.
I want to point out that if you want to say that because someone had bad ideas that none of the research is valid, Sigmund Freud, which is one of the best proponents of psychology as a whole, who made such crazy advancements in psychology, also believed that young boys want to sleep with their mom. Which just for perspective.
I googled it now. The name. Yeah. And what I said earlier with that the lovely German people with the Kristallnacht in Berlin.
Yeah.
That they like burned all the books, etc. And I read like a long story short thing about Magnus Hirschfeld, and yeah, it just said the same what I said earlier. Exactly.
Yeah.
That they destroyed
Very
evidence, everything.
I wonder what the timeline is, which one was first, because from my education, which is not full, maybe I shouldn't even be speaking on it, but in the Holocaust, it was disabled people first, queer people next, and then Jewish folks.
And others.
Yeah, there were definitely other groups, but like, I don't know. Again, from my knowledge, that's kind of the order that at least those three groups went in. So I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so the way it went through was it was originally political opponents or dissidents, which would probably include homosexuals as well. Then it was people with disabilities, and then it was Jewish people. But all of that happened in about a year, span of a year. So it was really condensed.
I got one mixed up. But yes, that's wild that happened in a span of a year. Okay, thank you for helping educate me further. And I will look into that more later as I need to.
Sorry for interrupting.
I like how the Germans were like, no, we're going to revoke your citizenship. Like that meant anything at that point.
Yeah, even German children with disabilities got into horrible situations.
Yeah,
because they were not worth it.
Yeah.
So you said, Mama, just to clarify again, queer people, then disabled people, then Jewish people?
Ideological targets, which would be like political opponents, which would be queer people who are religiously different, and then Jewish people were part of that, but they didn't go after just people who were ethnically Jewish yet. They're going after people who are religiously Jewish. It didn't come down to like almost exclusively Jewish people until a little bit later. But they're trying to. The first issue was trying to round up everyone, right? And then they focused hardcore on Jews like later that same year. If that makes sense, Jewish people.
Yeah, and again, I'll look into it more later. I'll drop it for now because obviously it's not the topic. But thank you for kind of explaining it, breaking it down. That cataplexy, I hate this.
I mean,
breaking it down a bit for me.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
But in terms of
that help people that are like not worth it for like this guy, let's say the guy with the beard. Even German people got in like concentration camps, like working whatever, and got
the Austrian painter.
Yeah, the Austrian painter that got rejected.
Just for context, all of this happening, them like grouping these people together in camps, that wasn't the mass unaliving of them. That didn't happen until like 1939, which did start with disabled people first, and then it went on to Jewish people.
Okay, so I was right for the mass unaliving part, but not for the rounding up part.
Yeah,
Got
the
it.
concentration camps
That makes
happened, and they were
sense.
going on for a few years before the mass unaliving started happening.
The book burnings and stuff and like that took place even earlier in like the early to mid
Yep.
30s. So yeah, this
Which
wasn't
is
something
wild
that like
to me.
it wasn't even an overnight thing. Like this was like extreme theories building up and up and up and up, and it's like
Yeah, this all happened over the span of like 20 years.
which kind of makes sense because if I can't imagine a
born and
population.
raised in Berlin.
We're seeing it in America right now.
Yeah, it's just a slow,
Born and
devolving.
raised in Berlin, so I was at the where the guy was hiding.
Mhm.
I was born in that city where he was, and also I was at the.
Oh, someone's live
Ba-
timing now. Oh no, your live timing now. Oh, my chest hurts so bad.
And I was also
Oh,
at the
no, don't
Anne
die.
Frank house, if you know that.
Yeah,
What
I've
was
been to
that?
Berlin. It's a very pretty city
I'm just
too.
kidding.
Anne Frank is in Amsterdam.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
and
believe-
also Alexa, just really quickly, I want to say, I, especially with my specific neurodivergencies, which we all accept and accommodate up here, will start talking at the same time or a similar time as somebody else, and then it's like you go ahead, no, you go ahead, no, you. So when you're like, sorry if I'm interrupting, don't apologize. You're doing the same thing. We all interject sometimes. We all get mixed up with like who's gonna talk first, So hopefully we're making enough space for you here as well to speak and express yourself. And don't be sorry. That's all I wanted to say. Sorry. Bye. Not sorry. I'm not a hypocrite. Not sorry. Okay.
Tell me again about sorry, bye. But yeah, yeah, but we know that thing why we apologize when it happens, right?
For sure.
Yeah, we just gotta work on not doing it anymore.
Sometimes we got a lot of people who want to respond to something, and everyone wants to be first.
I don't want to be first,
Yeah, that's why we get into the you go first. No, you go first. It's because we don't mind what order we go in typically.
What
So
worries me sometimes is the subject changing too much before I get to say what I wanted to say, and then it's like too late.
hi, Velvet. Sorry.
No, and it's totally fine to go back on topics. If
You can. I was about to say that same exact thing. Sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, I mean, it's fine if we go back on topics. I think that's it's better to let people speak like what they want to say over just railroading them. I'm here for a conversation, not a railroad. I don't want to crucify you on a cross, even if you have dumb ideas. Like this is not what I want to do. If you're respectful, at least. If you're not respectful, then get the fuck out. No, and you've been nothing but respectful for the most part. So at least as far as I can remember.
Try
So.
my best.
Ooh, have fun with your partner, Velvet. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Sorry.
No gooning. No gooning. No.
Oh! I have a question.
I'll see myself
I have a
out.
question.
Yes.
Okay, so what does gooning mean? I hear it so much.
That's such a good question. I feel like hosts can explain this best.
No, you got it, Cole. You got it. No.
No. This is your live.
So it's like
I've been hearing it.
I'll just let's go to the Urban Dictionary.
Innuendo?
I've been hearing
It's
it.
kind of similar to innuendo.
No, it's okay. So the like literal translation is a prolonged trance-like state of sexual arousal and masturbation involving edging, the delaying of orgasm for an
Literally
extended
no
period
filter.
for heightened pleasure, often while consuming pornography or other stimulating media.
Oh my god.
This creates a high or hypnotic state, sometimes associated with online subcultures.
I'm glad I didn't look it up. And I'm glad
Okay.
I
No.
Shorter?
It's like kind of like It's kind of also been like used to just say like stop doing engaging in like sexual related discourse kind of, or it's just kind of thrown in
Yeah,
as
like
like that whole
innuendo.
field. Yeah, it's just used as that to some extent now. But that's like the actual definition if you're wondering. Because we had two
So
people
also
here that
like,
didn't know what it was. I'm like, fuck it, we'll do it.
okay, maybe, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It means touching yourself.
Or
Search
like,
at the Urban Dictionary.
actually, that was just the
Sorry.
AI overview, which looked fine. The Urban
Oh, that
Dictionary
was
had something
AI.
pretty
Well,
similar.
yeah, but still no filter, which I find iconic. Just going for it, full send.
I actually think AI, one of the good
Maybe I'm
things.
too
Oh,
European for Gwynny.
yeah, one of the things that AI is actually like particularly good at is potentially like giving like definitions in some regards, because it's the thing that it really focuses at is like basically mapping out words and how closely related they are to others, so it can use these other words that it knows that are related to help explain these ideas. So it's like one of the few things where like
Yeah,
LLMs
fine.
can like be good at doing this.
So fair. Very brief mod break. Let's set a goal. Instead of 10, we'll go for 5K likes.
No
And
likes.
we're only at 3 shares. Shares? I don't know where that came from, but shares. So let's at least get up to 10.
No,
That's
what
all.
you gotta
Like Gwynny.
do is that you gotta say do not like the live. It's reverse psychology. Do not like the live. Do not pass
See,
go.
don't like the live to 5K and don't let it hit 10 shares. There you go.
Everybody goon the live.
No.
Oh, Christ. We did that once and it only lasted like 30 seconds, but it was fun. But not
Oh,
now.
good.
It's not the time nor the place.
But you know
F is
what?
not here.
You know what? What counts? You know what counts to everyone?
What?
Okay, I will tell you. To be here with amazing people. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love your
Wow.
yay.
That
Just
was so
yeah.
enthusiastic.
F you guys. Wow. I just
I
want
heard
to be cute.
yay.
Wow.
Just
I see you driving round town with a girl I love, and I'm
I
like,
had a vision.
F you.
I had a vision in my. It got destroyed. Oh, heartbreaking.
I don't even know where we left off. Or why we were even looking into that.
About.
that's okay. Pick up
Not that.
wherever you want.
Not that. Way back in the the transgender. Get back on top.
We were talking about that guy.
All right. So, yeah, the affirmative care. Just I guess maybe just start from the top. Honestly, start from the beginning. It's just gonna matter to most people about children. What and the influences that they're gonna have, and
So I think-
whether.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think, real quick, I think he's really actually discussing the intersection between education and affirmation. Just in case you want to bring that into account, but if you want me to respond instead, that's also cool. So go ahead if you'd like.
What I was gonna say is that like we have looked into, like, there has been individuals who have looked in to see if, hey, is this something that's like socially contagious, or like that people get these, like, are people becoming trans not because they are actually trans, if it's like they're doing it for social reasons. And there hasn't been any studies that have really actually shown good evidence at all for this. If anything, they've always suffered from like extreme systematic flaws of like, yeah, you're not even like asking these individuals themselves why they feel this way. You're asking the parents, which to them it's like, yeah, this is gonna appear different to them. You need to also be asking the individuals. Like, if you want to know the motivation for something, the only way we can find out is to ask.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can ask, and that it's good to get information about, what they think. But it might be impossible to know, what, obviously you don't even have any memories until you're 5, right? Or so they say. I don't know if that's a myth. I mean, I know I have some memories from before that, but they were more like traumatic, my house burning down memory is the only memory I have before 5.
That's not fun.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm
I
sorry
burned
for
it
that.
down on accident.
That went dark really fast.
You burned it down? What?
So I actually have a memory before. Shit, my voice is going out again.
He was
I-
not ready, finished with the sentence.
I have a memory before 5. It was when they hit the second tower. I'm kidding.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Not the
but actually-
9/11 Dr. Bliss moment.
but
I'm
actually-
sorry.
I actually
Dr.
do.
Blitz,
have
get
a
down.
memory-
That one.
I actually do have a memory before 5, although I was 4. It wasn't when the second tower was hit. I was making that joke, but it was when the Times newspaper cover, they first printed the paper going over the events that happened. That first, I do remember seeing that the magazine. That's what it's called, the Time magazine.
Remember
The
when those
newspaper cover.
existed? Ooh.
Huh? At 4 years old?
Yeah, I was about 4 then. I think I was about 4. Yeah, I should have been about 4.
I have memories from before 5, for sure.
Yeah, I think that it's a little bit earlier than that. When most people could have a memory, it's just not super. Like a lot of them are gonna be fairly foggy, just due to how our brains develop. We like to.
No. I was 5. Never forget. I played like I was in kindergarten. Never forget. I played dinosaur with my bestie Christopher. Back then, we were 5. So this, what's the English word? Pachycephalosaurus, like the dinosaur where they like crush their heads like sheep. Like bumping their heads.
Like
Can someone
headbutting?
say yes, please? Pachycephalosaurus.
Yeah, I don't understand German. That's making it worse.
Like the dinosaur, they bumping their heads.
yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, I
headbutting.
know those. Stegosaurus, maybe? I can't remember which one's there.
Anyway, so we played that, and I bumped my head like on a glass, like at a window, and the glass like shattered when I
Ooh.
was 5. So, and never forget, that's why I'm saying I can exactly remember, so it's not foggy. And my bestie Christopher said, I will say that to Katrin, was the person who was taking care of us. And he was running to her, and I was in shock because I was thinking, how dare you, snitch. I wasn't thinking snitch, but something like that. And then I was in trouble. And then I got into therapy. That's it. And
Yeah, so but like in terms of like the affirmation model, what we do know is that like I have lots of stats on this, and I'd be happy to provide them the sources that I use for this. I think that some of the best
I got a few
evidence.
studies that.
Yeah, so I could just go over a few of them. That's the wrong document. This
I
is
know
the
that there's,
one.
I know about studies that suggest, chemical influences like hormones in utero.
I have one that
Might
says
affect brain chemistry and whatnot.
yeah, one of the ones that the ones that I like a lot is it's the actual. I'll post that's the title of it. It was posted in, I think, Pediatrics, if I recall right. I think I'm doing that right.
I just learned doubling season, parallel lives, and annotated position are all multiplicative and not additive, which is really cool. It's unrelated to what we're talking about, but I just wanted to share that with the class. You all have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it was published in the Journal of Child and Adolescent Psychiatric Nursing, and the main part about it is that it's basically going on about looking at individuals who were supported by their families and their identities. And basically, what they saw is that individuals who had better family acceptance, that the greater family acceptance significantly predicted better self-esteem, social support, general health, lower rates of substance abuse, unaliving risk, thoughts of that, and attempts made within their lifetime. And they basically concluded that having it they recommended some things to do, and some of these things were like supporting your child's LGBT identity even though you may feel uncomfortable, advocating for them when they're mistreated because of their identity, requiring others within your family to respect them, bringing them to LGBT organization or events, connecting them with somebody who is a member of the LGBT, to show them options for the future, and other things like that. And I think it's really clear that once, when we're looking at hundreds of individuals and seeing this clear, this just leads to better life outcomes. I don't see any reason why not to go with anything but an affirmative model.
Well, I've sort of struggled with this myself, and I think of like people who aren't happy with their body in other ways, in which they affirmation may give them temporary or maybe even permanent relief in their distress, which would be like
They're
someone just
not
happy with their face.
comparable. I'm interrupting for misinformation because they're not analogous. The symmetry breaker is we're advocating for whatever medical professionals would like to be the treatment in that scenario. And you're giving us a different scenario, and there's a different medical professional consensus on what that treatment should be. Therefore, it's really just not analogous.
So I'm going to tell you why it is analogous, because the argument is that because it lowers their distress or dysphoria, and thus less likely to attempt or unalive themselves, that it's good to do.
This is
So my argument would be, just because it helps with your mental health, short term, maybe even long term, doesn't necessarily justify it.
This wasn't
of course,
even
they're
medical
the medical
intervention.
professionals.
This was just family acceptance. That's all they looked at here.
Right. So, to affirm them, which, we know that gender affirming care also has this effect.
Yeah.
And, it's like, should we? And it's like, you could do that with any psychological distress that
Does it
people are
harm
dealing with.
you?
I think
I'm wondering if
maybe,
it harms them, and I don't know if the studies are, far enough yet.
I almost would maybe question the wild thought that maybe we should just ask the people who've gone through this stuff if they regret it. And
I've
the
talked to
answer,
dozens, hundreds maybe.
yeah, there's lots of people. There's that's your point.
We've gone through what specifically? We've gone through gender affirming care
In
as a
this
minor?
retrospect,
No, of course.
Just like hundreds of or not hundreds, but probably over 100 trans people I've talked to.
Are we talking about specific gender affirming care as a minor, or just trans people generally?
I've asked them questions of varying degrees, which would include those, when did you start your transition, and how did it go?
To give?
What were your hormone levels at the time? I find that a lot of people have imbalanced
Okay.
hormones, but not all.
Not true. Okay, so
Not true. Are you gonna tell me? I'm just telling you my
yes, I'm
experience.
going
Please do not
to
deny my
answer.
personal
I'm going to
experience.
respond. Your personal experience is that you had hormones that were imbalanced that led you to think you were trans. Am I hearing you
No.
correctly?
What?
You
That's
were
not
That's
not
what
hearing
you
me
just
correctly.
said.
That is not what I just said. If
No,
you'd
that's
like-
not what he said.
Thank you.
What did I hear? Damn.
Yeah, so he said that most of the trans people he talked to had a hormone.
Not most.
Yeah,
Maybe like.
but then you said are you denying my personal experience? And I'm not understanding what you're saying.
His
My
personal
as
experience
in
by his experience of interviewing transgender individuals, not his
right.
experience as a transgender individual.
Yeah, I was just sharing my
Okay,
anecdote.
now I'm getting it. Sorry. But nonetheless, like, anecdotes don't account for like variables and bigger groups of people that are being.
Didn't you say to talk to
Can
trans
I
people?
can I complete my sentence?
Sorry.
Individual people and the anecdotes are not going to give the whole picture, and the only thing that can do that is research. So if you're not relying on the research that is well done, that has a good methodology, that has been peer reviewed, if you're not relying on those things and you're relying on anecdotes rather, that's where the problem lies.
So I'm not relying on anything. But who was it in here that told me to talk to the actual people, the actual trans people? I thought
Oh, that was me.
someone said that.
Yeah, I was talking to the individuals who've gone through this on like a more like you can have one or two individuals and that's fine to look at, but what we really should be doing is looking at like systematic reviews of entire things of literature. And when we do that, we're talking about like looking across hundreds or like thousands of people, probably much more than that actually. One of the studies I've looked at, it's a systematic review of all peer-reviewed articles published in English between 1991 and 2017, and it looks at 72 studies. 17 were literature reviews or guidelines. The remaining 51 showed that transitioning resulted in improvement to well-being, and only 4 showed mixed or no difference. There was not a single one between 1991 and 2017 that showed any negative findings. Between all the 72 studies, they found a regret rate ranging from 0.3 to 3.8%. I would call that clear and definitive evidence that individuals do not regret going through transitioning.
Definitive is a unscientific term, but I get what you're saying. It's
that's
very heavily supported.
Nearly
and
2 decades of
meta-analyses
or
are
3 decades
the
of
grand
research.
standard. Meta-analyses are the gold standard. So definitely want to look at those the most. Honestly, if you can get your hands on them. Of course, they're not always perfect, but they review many studies and culminate them. And just like you said, there's 4 outliers, and anyone can go to those 4 and point to those and be like, "Hey, look, it supports my argument." But if you look at the actual culmination of all of them, you'll see that those ones are not the general trend. And so that's the problem with looking at individual studies to support
We are the general.
arguments.
What do you mean?
I'm going to bet right now if anyone else wants to bet. Not for real. But that this guy, no matter what study we put in front of him, no matter how many years it's taken place over, no matter how many people are in the study, no matter how many people have peer-reviewed said study, no matter if it's a culmination of studies. Sorry, I have wee-woos going by. I don't know if you can hear them or not. He's gonna find some way to think he's weaseling out of it in a clever way.
My question
And
is,
he's
why does he
just
think
gonna
word?
try to.
My
I
question is,
mean,
I'll explain.
that's
Why does
what
he
I've
think-
seen so far, and I just expect it. That's my bet. Sorry,
Are
I'm
you
done
aware
now.
of the 27 study review of the Tylenol neurological developmental disorders recently?
Oh yeah, no, there's no.
Are you saying
no
that
what?
Tylenol causes autism? Am I hearing
Exactly.
you?
That's what I'm saying. It's a
Oh,
meta-analysis
wow,
of 27
okay.
studies which support,
I
and I
would
do
drop
not
him
agree
for
with it.
misinformation. You're playing
Yeah.
with
I
fire,
don't
but
agree
you
with
can
that
leave him if you
study.
want.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
your
you
I've
don't
been
agree
respectful
though.
this whole
Actually,
time.
can I actually address
Been
something real
respectful this
fast?
whole time. I don't agree with
Tylenol
that study.
causes.
I
Wow.
don't believe that study.
Yeah, so the
I don't-
issue you're comparing one meta-analysis with multiple different studies and the consensus in the medical community as a whole, right? One meta-analysis which does not say Tylenol causes autism it says that there might be a link between that specific chemical and autism, a correlation. Not even a close correlation, but a loose correlation between that is very different than what do we have now? Close to like almost 100. 100 is probably exaggeration, but I've counted personally at least 20 to 30 different studies that came out in the last 10 years, specifically including the meta-analytical study, which has its own studies in it, in support of transgender individuals and the treatment of them. And that's specifically just U.S. studies. So I don't. There's a big difference between one analytical study and like multiple others, like
And-
tons
Yeah,
of them.
my point was is that you know, he was basically saying, well, you know, doesn't believe you know, this meta-analysis, and so, you know, just rejects everything. It's like, no, you know, I don't believe anything
Hold on. I
immediately.
actually
He's
could
27.
find out that there actually probably is actually a link between Tylenol usage, and pregnant and being autistic, but so a parent using
ADHD
but do you know
was the
why
strongest correlation.
the reason that there might be is because of how autism is. It's actually, in a silly twist of events, the autism causing people to take Tylenol, and not the other way around. The Tylenol causing autism. Autism is highly genetic in nature, or it
Yeah.
is genetic in nature for some individuals. And we know that one of the few things that we do like really have a good understanding about autism is that that people who are autistic don't have as many prune, or the synapses don't prune as much, so things such as pain are elevated within them, hence why they would see a need to take more painkillers. So it is actually just that the parents were autistic, and this might cause them to take
That,
To
you
more
know, you can make that
Tylenol.
argument.
To be clear, this is a very solid theory, but neither direction is causation proven.
Yeah, but this is
Um,
like
Exactly. I
so
agree
we're
with
just
that.
talking about very loose correlation. That's it. Correlation does not equal causation if nobody's told you that before.
Well, yeah,
That's
but like until we have a better reason to believe, like this is a very reasonable explanation for the data, and like it makes sense that this would be the case. And this is something that should be studied more, I think, because it's clearly something as it's interesting at least, and we should look
I
into it.
agree.
Now, I want to clear up a misconception about how genetics, you know, work with, you know, autism, and, you know, as well as things like type 1 diabetes, as well as even type 2 diabetes that they're finding. That these things are, you know, genetic, but the things is that the majority of the population actually has these genes, but it you know, depends on certain factors whether or not they activate and cause the disease. You know, which, you know, again, like with type 2 diabetes, you know, weight gain, or, you know, obesity can contribute to the likelihood of developing it. And they're finding that for type 1 diabetes also, you know, early childhood obesity can increase the likelihood by like 25% of activating these genes, which most of the population has. So yes, it's genetic, but, you know, it's, you know, it doesn't say that it's guaranteed to happen, or that, you know, that it's necessarily
Yeah,
like hereditary.
I don't think that there's like any contention in the fact that it's not always genetic. I think that there are some, like from my understanding, there are some conditions that can like increase the likelihood, but like there's not. It's very clear that at least for a good amount of people who are diagnosed with autism, it is because of genetics, and like the parent were
Well, that's what that's what
autistic.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
These
so
genes, they get activated. Most people have them. I don't know about autism, but for type 1 diabetes, which is, you know, generally considered to be something you're so born to get, you know, they're finding that these gene activations have, you know, you know, a lot of factors in whether or not they express themselves.
So,
We
Dean,
were talking
real
about
fast.
autism. How is that relevant?
Yeah, so
Sorry,
real
go
Well,
fast.
it's
ahead.
relevant because they're both genetic.
Do you know how genes work?
I'm not an expert, but yeah, I have a general
Yeah,
understanding.
specifically in terms of like reproduction, right? What the chances of like genes expressing or causing these traits to be dominant or recessive, etc., when talking about people pairing up and reproducing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why things might not express, it's not like random, right? Is because for specific genes to be expressed in offspring, both parents would need to be a carrier of some of these specific genes. They need to have both copies of it, right? So someone could have, like, in theory, like, let's say for example autism is a recessive gene, which would explain a lot if it was, right? Or the specific traits for autism could be, which my personal belief is that it would be more of a syndrome, as in it would be caused by multiple different factors, because the way we see autism is just social behaviors. So if the genetics for autism are recessive, then yes, it would mean that if two autistic people were to get together, they have a higher chance of having an autistic child, which I think is the case, if I remember correctly. It would also show that yes, it's not quote unquote guaranteed that it's going to be passed down, but it has a significantly higher chance depending on if the other person is a carrier, which we don't really know if they're a carrier because we don't know the autism gene, for example.
Carrier is a misleading term. I would say the genetics, you're gonna combine your genetics together, and if you have basically you're gonna have multiple genes that may contribute to developing whatever disorder that it is, and so you're gonna have a higher likelihood of those getting activated, or basically environmental triggers will activate these genes, causing them to again develop the disorder or disease or whatever it is. And so that was something that I didn't understand until probably just a few years ago.
That's a complicated, non-scientific theory you have there, and I don't
It's actually
understand.
That's completely not unscientific.
Yeah, that is very scientific, actually. But it's.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow as well.
Yeah, I use the term carrier for layman's because obviously carrier is a little bit misleading on how genes works. But depending on what the gene is, right, some of them will be activated at birth, like guaranteed, if both parents have that gene in them, and some of them, we can assume based on how autism presents itself that there's not a necessary activation factor for that gene. For example,
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. For example, like schizophrenia, for example, we theorize that it is genetic, and there could be environmental, social, or even hormonal factors, or other factors that can cause that gene to activate later on in life, and we don't know what can trigger that. But since autism is present at birth, I don't think it's fair to say that it's something that is activated at any point when the genes are expressed. They're just expressed during development, because activation implies that it happens after development. I mean, not necessarily, but I guess in the context of this conversation, I would say it implies it happens after development.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm just gonna look something real quick.
Daddy.
What? Oi.
Sorry. Fuck.
Yeah, good. Don't scream daddy on my snow.
What?
Are we just gonna ignore that?
Anyone want to give me $300 for a really cool Magic the Gathering card?
I don't have $300.
No, it's not a Black Lotus. Black Lotus is like way more than $300.
That's the only one I know.
Elspeth Stormslayer. It's a planeswalker.
I do know that term. My brother used to play. I would play once in a while, and I would just like win. He was like angry because I didn't know what I was doing. First, beginner's luck, I guess.
Yeah, I'm selling all of my cards, and well, not all of them. I'm limiting myself to just my 2 main decks, and I'm trying to actually complete them. And the handful of cards I needed to complete them, were not super expensive, but one of them's like $300. Well, just because it's pretty, and this is going to be when I say I'm limiting myself to 2 decks, these are going to be my collector items that I will play with if anyone wants to play, but for the most part, they're going to sit in the binder and look fucking gorgeous. If that makes sense. it's mostly going to be like nostalgia collection.
Yeah, he doesn't play anymore, but he has so many cards, and I go to garage sales once in a while, and I'll see like just like a whole table full of cards, and it's like a shame, that they don't, they're not getting used.
If you ever see them, I recommend buying them, especially if the person doesn't know what they're worth, because I can guarantee if you have a bulk of cards from a person that just doesn't really play them and hasn't played them in years, you're probably going to find some cards that are worth like a pretty penny. Like I went through my bulk of my cards with one of my friends the other day, and I made like $200 from selling cards I didn't know were valuable.
Hey guys, this is a great.
I wonder that.
This
But
is a
I
great
imagine.
conversation, but like,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna end
I'm
live
sorry.
soon. I'm getting tired. I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
normally up this late. I'm just letting you guys know, just so I don't
Oh
like
shit!
just
It's
end
10.
the
I need
live.
to
Okay,
sleep.
we can
I need to sleep. I have
we
work
can
tomorrow.
sort of wrap this up a little bit. I was looking into the the autism thing, because I know that it's we're understanding it better and better all the time. The umbrella for autism has grown so much since the 1980s. And diagnosis has gotten much better. Um, and we still sometimes, obviously, you can't really tell just by looking at somebody if they're autistic. So you
I
got to
can.
wait until sometimes when they're at a certain age, sometimes up to 2 years before they, show at least the signs become noticed by the parents or, professionals.
It could take
I
decades,
can always
Um,
tell.
actually. In a fun turn of events, I was only diagnosed 3 years ago. I'm 26.
Oh no, for sure that it can go, forever without being diagnosed. But I guess generally it's 18 to 24 months or sooner.
I can always tell if someone's
Do
autistic.
you have evidence for that?
Always, yeah, you can always clock it.
Yeah, I can
That
always
is just a
clock.
quick.
That was so specific to not have evidence for.
Yeah, it's just CDC
It,
saying that before 24 months or earlier is when it's generally caught.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actually I do think that's about right. It is generally caught around there, or like generally like before like the age of 4, because you see like it's before that age you don't have a lot of time, like the symptoms of autism just aren't like it's really hard to tell the difference between somebody who isn't autistic versus who it is. The funny thing though
Yeah.
is like once you actually have a diagnosis, it's really easy to go back and like see like, oh yeah, this is pretty clear that this person had this.
Right.
The other
It's
thing
like,
to keep in mind with autism is because people, especially a lot of high functioning autistic people, will subconsciously learn to mask their behaviors. It can be next to impossible to diagnose these individuals. Autism is very interesting in and of itself because a lot of it is just it is social, which is why like I will jokingly say autism is a social construct, but a lot of disordered thinking behaviors that in psychology are gonna be social constructs, because the only reason why we deem them to be disordered behaviors in the first place is because of our current society. When in reality, like for example, if we're in a hunter-gatherer society, someone being autistic would not be relevant or matter in any way for their survival.
And this applies to a lot of other disabilities as well. Like I have certain physical disabilities, and when I was a full-time wheelchair user, it's just the world is not built for me, rather than me not being able to thrive in that world,
I would strongly argue that if you're a full-time wheelchair user or have I would say most physical disabilities are still going to be physical disabilities, because for something to be socially constructed, it would have to like not exist or not matter without society, which is why social behaviors are going to be socially constructed. Sorry, I'm talking fast. Which is why social behaviors are going to be socially constructed, but physical disabilities in the absence of society, like you're still going to be disabled. For example, I have POTS, and without a society, I would probably be dead or unalived because I wouldn't be able to function without the assistance from our society. Even though I do acknowledge that our society could do significantly better with the care for disabled people. But I don't think that necessarily makes a disability a social construct. I think the difficulty from that disability could absolutely be perpetuated by society. But like disability itself existing, like that, you would have to be able to argue that your disability wouldn't exist without a society.
And I'm not arguing that, but like I do disagree to an extent because if it was socially acceptable, for example, when I was going to the dining hall to get my food, if it was just socially like normal and acceptable for um, people to have like lower counters that they present the food on so that anybody can access it. Or, for another example, having ramps places. Anyone can walk up a ramp or roll up a ramp. Not everyone can roll up stairs, you know? And I don't mind that being an option, but like that's kind of what I'm referring to, where if it was socially acceptable for these types of things to just be the norm, you know, um, I wouldn't have had to deal with as many issues as I did while I was a wheelchair user, and that's where I find the it comparable to autism as well. Like, if it was just normal for people to be diverse, which is like the truth of it, you know, it wouldn't be so difficult for us to socialize in certain ways or do other things. They may not be physical things, which is where the analogy breaks down, of course, but I do feel like they're analogous in the way that if society was built for us or if society was accepting of us, um, we would thrive. Whereas it's just the fact that society is not built for us that makes it a problem, if that makes sense.
I mean, it does. I get it in terms of like a social setting, but I do think that, for example, I would still be disabled in my day-to-day life just going up and down stairs in my own house. Or if either if we replace the stairs with a slope in my house, I would still almost pass out going up or down that slope. Even if we replace it with an elevator, like I don't think there's necessarily like something society could do to accommodate that specific thing, and that's for a lot of scenarios as well. Like I don't. It's yes, difficulties perpetuated for it, but I don't know.
I hear you. There are some disabilities that you cannot accommodate for, um, or like even just the accommodation of having you on the first floor, so that you never have to walk up a slope, for example. Like there are some things society can do, but there are some things society cannot do. When I go to the doctor's office for my PCP, I have to take the elevator, and some elevators are okay. I don't know if you're similar in this way with your POTS, but some elevators are okay. Some are brutal. It's like, are you trying to make me pass out? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here? You know?
Head rush.
So, I definitely think that, like, even just making elevators, calmer, I don't know how else to describe it, so that it's less likely, not
Jarring.
impossible, for
When you're
less
going up
likely
like
for
many flights,
somebody
it
to
can go
pass out.
faster.
Yeah, even if it's just one, because that's for my doctor's office, and the elevator is brutal there. It's just whoop, you know, and then it stops, and like
Mm-hmm.
your blood's all over the place for a POTS patient. Um, Especially somebody with a connective tissue disorder whose blood vessels aren't supported by connective tissue like most people's are. Anyways, so yeah, a little bit of a ramble. There are a lot of little things, small, seemingly little things that we can do to help, but not necessarily prevent. And that's kind of what I'm shooting for here. That's
Yeah.
what I'm kind of obviously like. We can't do everything, but we should normalize absolutely as much as we can. I y'all, whenever Stowe isn't tired and we're live, if you're all interested, I have a story from when I was a full-time wheelchair user, and I was going to meet the president of my college, and I couldn't get down from my dorm on the second floor to the first floor without significant help, and that's all I'll say right now.
Yeah.
But it's a funny ass story in retrospect, but also like still brutal. Like what the fuck? Anyways, sorry.
No, I was gonna say you're absolutely right. Like, the more I think about it, the more absolutely does depend on the elevators. I don't know if it's just me, but I've noticed a lot of elevators I've been on in hospitals, especially like nicer hospitals. I feel like they go out of their way to make that transition really smooth, whereas in like a lot of office buildings or other buildings like that and shit, it's super fucking jarring.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not true for all POTS patients. Like, some of them are going to be super sensitive, and they're just not going to be fully accommodated by that. Even okay, for example, even those stupid little like sorry, they're not stupid. Those helpful little like emergency pull things. If somebody's going to pass out and they purposely stand next to that, if they're alone in an elevator, they can just grab it on their way down. And even again, it seems like little stuff, but it can be ultimately accumul accumul uh
Accumulative.
accumul let me get this. I would accumulatively. I did it.
Yay!
Oh my god,
Accumulatively.
never heard of that
I didn't
word.
get that.
Never heard
Okay.
of it.
It makes a major difference at the end of the day. So yeah, I think there are ways that we can accommodate for everybody and normalize those things. I wish freaking being who we are as trans people was normalized too, but I don't know. Here we are. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that.
I low-key
I
have
was
not been listening for the last few minutes. I've been just talking in the Discord about playing
What does
Lego
it mean?
games.
Alexa is
Until I couldn't
salty?
pronounce
What does it
accumulatively.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
What's that, Alexa?
Alexa is salty. I don't know if she's a friendly or a OP. What does it mean?
Op.
T means like you're attractive.
No,
He's trying to hit on you.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, T doesn't mean necessarily attractive. T just means cool. I'm pretty sure David is into men mostly.
I never heard
Thank
that.
you for elaborating for me because I am not
I wanna,
okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I want me too.
Yeah, T just means cool or awesome or like or like interesting. It doesn't mean attractive. It's not always. It's not
I need
necessarily
to
clear.
like these
good.
are literally things I have to try my best to store in my mind so that I can function with like incoming new terms and how they evolve over time. Like
I have a
it's so
solution for that.
No fucking way. I was called Unks. No fucking way.
Yeah.
no
I
way.
have a solution for that. Do you want to know my
Wait,
solution?
who else were you referring to? Because that was plural.
Do you want to know
wanna
my
know.
solution? You want to know my solution to your issue? Don't be autistic.
Don't or mine. Okay, don't see. That was so autistic of me to not even know who you were speaking to.
I'm gonna bring David
My
up so
mother
you can
just
clear.
shouldn't have taken that damn Tylenol, huh?
I'm probably gonna get going. I just wanted to say one thing. I've been reading this whole time while listening about the autism thing, and I found I was just reading, and I was looking into CDC saying something about eye contact, and I looked into that, and then I looked into this, and I found a study. I came across this that it declines in early babies. That from autismspeaks.org, which I guess is a
Well,
study
they're
from
actually like not for the autistic community. They want to
they're
quote unquote
against it?
cure autistic people. They're against it. They're against
they're
it
against
existing.
autism?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the,
They're not a good source.
What is it? The medical.
Well, they're not the source. They cited a study.
So like, can I clarify what T means? Like,
Yes,
Was
I'm
I
so
wrong?
sorry. Okay.
I mean, you give like a broad, like awesome, cool. I wouldn't say awesome or cool. No, I don't think that's what it means. At least not when I use T. Like T really
They're
just
not.
like when someone says, "Oh, girl, you're T," like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like attracted to them or that they're like an awesome or cool person. It's more so like you
Okay,
present
bye, David.
yourself. Wait, what? What
I'm gonna
happened?
drop you. Bye.
No, wait, let me explain. You
No,
think I'm
bye.
No, I
bullshitting?
want to hear him out.
Oh, I
Oh
dropped him.
no!
I wasn't
That's
actually gonna drop him.
Oh, I just.
oh no!
I think on that
Can we
bombshell.
let him back up?
Okay, fine. I was gonna end it there, but
Yes.
I was
Okay,
just
let
doing
him
that
out.
for
Funny.
funny.
So what I was gonna say is that T, when someone references you to be T, it just means like, oh my God, stop muting
Who
me.
the fuck did that?
Yeah. So what it means to be T, it means that you're just like,
oh, teacups.
yeah.
Okay.
So like T basically is just gonna be referenced.
Okay. Well, the world may never know.
Yeah. So did y'all understand?
Totally. Absolutely. 100%.
My
I
voice
think-
is still out.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And also I think I support transgender people and affirmative care. Tell me why I shouldn't. I just think that you shouldn't because trans people don't exist.
Oh, good
Oh.
to know where
Get
you
going.
stand. We don't have to do this right now, Stowe, if you don't
Yeah,
want to.
yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody. Bye. I'm gonna go talk about Lego Logo
Bye.
now. Have a good night.
Have fun.
Train games are fucking awesome, guys.